Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. Finally able to breathe after eating all that Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yes, it was a struggle. We actually threw our last leftovers out today. It was trash day.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't eat them all?
Didn't get through them all. We were trying to figure out what the difference was between this year and last year, and I think the difference was this year we made just a lot more. So yeah, it was a very analytical discussion.
That's never mind. I was gonna make a joke saying like it didn't taste as good as last year.
No, it was real good. It was real good. But I will say we usually make like a lasagna on Thanksgiving. That's kind of been
the famous Pilgrim's lasagna. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we do that, and last year we made like square pan lasagna, and this year we made rectangle, which is obviously more. So, did you?
Oh yeah, that is that could be like 20, depending on how big that rectangle is.
Yeah,
it could be like 25% more.
I would say it was at least a third more lasagna.
So, do you ever hear that? I don't know. I saw some bullcrap that like people used to eat raccoon on Thanksgiving. Is that like some?
I'll bet you it's true. I mean, like back in the day.
Yeah, true. Whatever made to the front yard.
Yeah,
the pot.
So, yeah, I'll bet you they did. I read something where like they did like every president's favorite meal, and one of the early presidents' favorite meal was like possum or something. It was really disgusting. It's yeah. Well, it was yeah.
They're cannibals.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did. Did you deep fry a turkey?
No, I don't do that. We would get a deep fried when we lived in Texas.
Okay. Yeah.
There was this awesome Cajun place that did deep fried turkeys, and we would get them. I know that I would never. I don't want to deal with something like that. I don't think I would cook it long enough. I feel like I would burn myself. You know, there's the fear of like, you know, these idiots that like blow up their houses.
Yeah, that's real common.
The ones that don't. You have to like defrost your turkey. Your turkey has to be like
ice
1 minute away
free
from going bad. Like you cannot. Like even if like one little piece of crystal ice on it can like just make it explode. That because I was wondering, I'm like, why the fuck do people do this? And then I was like, oh, it's because they're not defrosting it enough.
Right. Yeah. If there's any ice crystals in there, they apparently explode or something. It's real.
Just, I mean, you ever throw like a frozen thing into a pan that has some oil in it?
Yeah, I mean, I have.
It goes nuts. It goes absolutely crazy. It's like it splatters and pops. So imagine now dropping like a 10, 20 pound thing into a fucking vat full of oil, you know, on fire. It would just be like you might as well just put like try to aim it at your enemies or something.
Yeah,
actually, that is the truth. Going back to the War of 1812, that's where the fried turkey was invented. Little unknown fact that I just made up.
Right.
You know what though? You know, it's interesting. You get involved in the Black Friday stuff.
Not terribly, but I did. Usually, here's what I do: is I throughout like the few months before Black Friday, I start putting stuff in my Amazon cart, just stuff that I would normally want or need or whatever. And then on Black Friday, I just look in my Amazon cart and I determine if any have had significant price drops, and then I buy them.
What about Cyber Monday? You didn't wait till Cyber Monday?
Yeah, I did. Like, I'm still doing it actually because like they've kind of extended that throughout the season now.
Before we get, I want to talk about that a bit, and then we could go into what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about this week, real quick?
We're going to the big news of the day is Henry Kissinger died.
The young age of 100.
Right. So we're going to talk about that briefly, and then we're going to talk about some pop culture stuff that we have been talking about weekly. We're going to talk about For All Mankind, the show Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, the Scott Pilgrim show. I finally got around to watching on Netflix. Talk a little bit about the new Marvel stuff that's going on, and I finally saw Five Nights at Freddy's. Kind of a mixed bag, but I thought some parts of it were pretty interesting. And then after that, we're going to get into the political stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ron DeSantis, Gavin Newsome debate that's coming up tomorrow night. I think they're voting on whether or not George Santos is expelled from Congress tomorrow.
Yeah, he said he's not leaving. I mean, he's not running again, but he would still have another like full year to just be a clown. So yeah, they should remove his ass.
And then we're talking about the Students for Trump guy got arrested for beating his girlfriend.
Wow, can't believe a Trump supporter is an incredibly violent
shocking
person. What a shock. Can't believe
we're going to talk about Lauren Boebert back in the news. Kyle Rittenhouse going broke, and then Elon had like a little unhinged diatribe against advertisers tonight.
No one wants to advertise on his 8chan site anymore.
Right.
And I don't know why. People don't want to advertise their, like, why would Apple not want to advertise their iPad next to the Jews will now replace us 14 words, Yeah.
Like, I saw this big thing on The Onion today about how when Elon was visiting Israel the other day, he pulled Netanyahu aside and asked him where the space laser was kept.
Yeah, that sounds like that actually sounds like that probably happened.
Exactly. I had to like double check. Like, is this The Onion? Is this?
Yeah, that's where The Onion's good at, like making those type of articles where it could just be an article. And at this point, with the way things are going, it might as well just be an article. Okay, well, before we go, I'll talk about the legend, the icon, the war criminal, Henry Kissinger. May he rest in PP.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I was in jokes like karma finally got to him. Took its sweet time. All right. So I've been seeing a lot of, like, the funny, you remember like how you would see like videos of people like killing each other on Black Friday?
Oh yeah.
And supposedly this year it was like ghost towns. Like no one was showing up. I saw people posting on TikTok like going like where they were like the only one there, like 7 days. No one. And then a lot of them said that like a lot of these stores they're pulling these like fast ones. They're not even sales. Like they pulled the sheet under it. This was at a Target where
I saw
was like $699, and they pulled it under, and it was the regular price.
Yeah,
there was no Black Friday sale. And then someone went. The funny thing is, someone went like I guess a couple days later, and then there was an actual sale because they weren't selling any.
Yeah, that is.
I used to see those fucking videos though. I remember like when I was living in New York, some guy I don't know if it was like a woman or something, got crushed to death. Like you would see these things and people would just kill themselves over like, $2 DVDs of like, do you really need to get the sequel to The Bourne Identity? Like, do you really need that DVD? Like no one cares.
Some of my best memories as a kid were
season 4 for only $7. Dude, I get it. I'd kill a dude for that,
Yeah, I was going to say some of my best memories as a child were, punching some old lady in the solar plexus and just watching her double over as I walk out with a VCR.
Yeah,
slipping a shiv between the third and fourth rib of an elderly man.
They're trying to take it away from you.
Yes,
they are trying. And when I say they, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Well,
this war on Christmas has been going on for a long time.
That's something that like anti-Semites say.
Yeah.
What?
This war on Christmas has been going on for a long time.
I think the war on Christmas is over. There is no war on Christmas. Fox tries to make it. No one gives a shit. No one cares. And then like I think the other thing too is though a lot of these places they've given up. They don't do. I think they realize that they used to have these like insane sales. You would see like I remember seeing like the Walmart flyer or Target flyer. This was like decade or two ago where
Yeah.
I would see it and it would be like, if you get here at like 8 in the morning, these things are this. But if you get here at 11, they don't cost this anymore. Now they went up. And
Right.
it was like totally insane. So you had people, I knew people in New York, they would wait in line, like
Yep.
literally, they wouldn't even have Thanksgiving. Like they would just wait like at a Best Buy at like 2 in the morning to be like camped out. It's disgusting. And it was like, I know a lot of retailers got flack and were like, dude, let people fucking have the day off. So, they would make the workers come in on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, like prepping for Black Friday. It was just getting completely out of hand. But then a lot of these places, they put their sales up like on Monday anyway. And like I said, there's these people who are uncovering that like they're not even really any sales going on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it feels that way for sure.
And
I don't know.
the stuff that always was, I remember that hearing about that too. Like when people would like kill themselves to get like $100 like flat screen TV, but you would find out like it is the cheapest model. Like, I mean, not like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a small size, but I mean like people don't realize a lot of these TVs they have like these depth ratios or whatever, and it would be like the shit. So like if you go to there and you're like, oh, this TV's 55 inches, yeah, but it's probably crap. Like look at the aspect, like look at what the output is. If the output is like a low megahertz, it's not you're
Yeah.
getting deficient, like a shitty product, and that's usually what those TVs were. They were like Black Friday TVs, they called them.
It feels like we're in a time, and I don't know because like my child is older now, but like it doesn't feel like there are any must-have toys. You know what I mean? Or products. Like
I'm not aware of it. I'm sure there's a bunch of them. I
probably,
don't
but
pay attention.
you used to not be able to exist in pop culture without hearing about the Tickle Me Elmo
Well, that I mean that's
or
so long ago, but yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the Tickle Me Elmo thing was ridiculous. I remember me and my friend got a couple and sold those, or we got them from our job. They gave it to us like after work. They were like, they
oh,
set us
that's
up
right. You told
aside
me
and
about
said,
this. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, I didn't do any big Black Friday shopping.
I
I
didn't either.
did
I
I
just go ahead. What?
yeah, I picked up, I mean, I literally did what I said. Like I had like vitamins in my cart that like
Ooh,
we just buy, and like
Merry Christmas.
they were rarely like $20. They were on sale for 3. So I bought a whole bunch.
Oh
And
damn. Well, but you got the Black Friday ones. They're good. They're
yeah,
actually vitamin C's.
right.
What? Why is there a Z after
What is
Z? Don't worry, don't.
right?
Shut up and take them. They're just as
I've heard
good.
of B6 and B12, but what is B78?
Yeah. Why? That must be better. There's more.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I bought like random shit like that, and I got some good
I know.
deals,
I was
but
gonna get fish oil, but what's possum oil?
possibly. I will say that
Like a possum, like on the front, and he's like all gnarly. Possum oil, is it good for your follicles?
yeah,
Why is
my
follicles spelled with
with a pH
what?
with a pH.
Yeah. Why is there an R in follicles?
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of didn't do that. Anyway, my daughter's at an age that like my wife and I we buy each other like small kind of gifts, like to kind of commemorate the
My
holiday.
son just likes records, so there is no Black Friday involved with that.
My kid
It's like
wants a new
whatever's
phone.
around.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't like it's all about records. So oh, we did go to like a record store day is the same day as like Black Friday.
Oh, I did. I
So we
saw
went to
that.
record store day. But
Yeah.
what what I'm saying is I've noticed like a lot of these companies are like being kind of shady. I mean, they always have been. Like I said, they would do a lot of bait and switch where people would wait in line and the stuff that was in the ad's not even there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walmart was known for doing that for decades. Like they were like the kings of like where the product wouldn't even be on the floor. It'd be like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
Um, but I want to bring up something interesting. You ever notice like how you see all this footage of like stores getting like stuff getting stolen from stores? Like I see all these like I see a lot of right wingers usually push it. They'll show like people coming with like bags, stealing shit and walking out. And like they want to, of course, this is like to attack cities like San Francisco or just in general, or just to attack minorities. Like, oh, look
Yeah.
at these like, but and then I was listening to some show and this guy called in, and I guess he worked at one of these stores, and they were told, like, do not, like, don't call the cops, don't do anything, let these people go, because they'll just claim it as a loss, and they get fully refunded, but with their insurance, like stores like Macy's and stuff. And I was like thinking, you see this so much now. What if the conspiracy here is, these are not actual thieves.
They're like,
they're paid to come in,
clear out the unsold merchandise,
shit, and then these stores claim an insurance scheme.
Yeah,
because that's weird. Like,
right? Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, like the store gets the Apple, the iPhone 15 in stock, and all of a sudden someone comes in and steals all the iPhone 14s, like,
or whatever. They steal like a ton of clothes. They steal a bunch of like whatever, a bunch of inventory. It doesn't have to be anything fancy like an iPhone 15. Just just inventory.
Yeah.
Remember that jackass like attacked that girl? We talked about that. Remember some idiots that were calling him like It's like, no, you're just sort of an idiot, dude. But like, what if like these? You find out like these retailers, these big ones like Macy's and like that, are paying people to come in, pretend to be fucking shoplifters. And then, so it works like twofold, these companies. Because a lot of these businesses are not profitable really anymore.
Right.
Haven't been in years. And they make more money with tax cuts, buying back stock. Insurance schemes like, loss and damages, stuff like that. So you get people come in, ransack your place,
right?
Claim certain cities are unsafe. You pull some shit and say we're closing down. That's a lie. Walgreens supposedly pulled this scheme, and we're claiming that there was so much theft in San Francisco. That was not the reason why they closed down. That was complete bullshit. Then you get information out and say, look, Biden's just look what's happening in the country. It's just chaos. You got people stealing and no one's stopping them. No one's stopping these thieves. And then they get a Republican back in so they can get more tax cuts and do more stock buybacks.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. The only flaw I think in the theory is that, like,
for sure.
Theory. Well, for sure, someone who was paid to do that would be on TikTok the next day talking about how they were paid.
I don't think so. They probably have to pay, like, sign some. No,
could be.
No way.
Yeah. Well, I certainly don't doubt that, like, they look the other way, knowing that it's to their advantage. Like if you might say, well, let's maybe just leave we don't need to post a bunch of security guards at the front door. We can just sort of like make it known that there's no one watching the store. That makes sense.
I don't know. They're just saying, like, a lot of these like retailers, like, they clearly make more money off of like not selling the shit. I mean, we're seeing that now with fucking studios like WB. Like, they just tried pulling a fast one with that movie recently, the Wile E. Coyote movie.
Yeah, I wonder.
They just make a bunch of product and then claim it as a fucking tax write-off.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. Someone made a joke, said that, like, Secret Invasion, though, Disney, that's one example where they should have claimed that.
Should have kept, yeah.
And what's so funny? It'd be so funny if they did that. So many people would have lost their fucking mind and claimed, like, this is bullshit. They would have been like, this was supposed to be amazing. This was probably like the best thing ever.
Yeah, it would have been like release the Secret Invasion, or something. There would have been like,
I mean, it would be insane. You have like Samuel Jackson as a lead, and you like don't even release it.
It looked great. It sounded great on paper. Everything sounded great about it. It just
there was still some good stuff in the movie, in the show. I mean, I liked some. Overall, it was disappointment, but all I'm saying is I feel like there's a lot of shenanigans. Obviously, I'm creating a conspiracy, but there is truth to that. Retailers do that. They also don't want like the employee getting hurt, because then the employee will need medical care.
Yeah.
They don't want the cops involved. They don't, if there's cases where even the criminal sues the retailer if they get hurt.
Yeah,
It's
right.
insane, absolutely insane. You know,
That's
that's just
true.
crazy. Um, but it just seems like this thing I see occurring more. And no, you know, I saw some video of like the CEO of Walmart complaining about deflation when it comes to
Oh,
like groceries. And
okay.
it's like, wait, I'm supposed to not like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who is he talking to? He's clearly not talking to like people who shop at the store.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, clearly that would be, I mean, like, I don't know, in a perfect world, that shouldn't bother anyone because they should be able to purchase. They don't, Walmart doesn't make stuff. They resell stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like it's, I mean, I suppose they have like some store brands or whatever, but for the most part, Walmart purchases items from a wholesaler and then marks it up slightly and gives it, I mean, like, so if deflation is letting us get our groceries cheaper, they should be similarly getting their product
From the
cheaper.
manufacturer cheaper at some
Right.
point.
I mean,
Yeah.
in theory, it shouldn't matter to them at all.
Did you see
They,
that thing about eggs? I know I sound like an old man.
yeah, right.
Compare with the price of eggs. Oh, then
I
peace
did. Yeah,
stay.
that's crazy. I remember for a long time people were saying, "Oh, it's COVID," and then, but no, it was just a cash grab by these fucking greedy chicken
But that's
farmers.
they all are. You know, you hear this bullshit, and again, I think a lot of it works in twofold. A lot of these companies usually support right wing politicians. You got a
Mm-hmm.
president right now who, despite what everyone wants to think, is probably one of the most pro union presidents
Yeah.
we've had. I mean, the guy went on the picket line. Like that
In
never
every
happened.
cartoon I ever watched as a kid, chicken farmers were motherfuckers. They were
What?
always, in every cartoon I ever watched as a kid, chicken farmers were motherfuckers. They were always terrible. They were unfairly biased
Cruel
against
to the
foxes.
rabbit or the
Yep.
chicken or the animal that would cause trouble.
Uniformly evil. We
I don't know,
watched.
dude. I think I'm on the side with the chicken farmers. Those animals were
Have you ever
shitheads,
seen
and they were usually
Fantastic?
racist. What?
Have you ever seen Fantastic Mr. Fox? All the chicken
Yeah.
farmers are bastards.
Oh
They're
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
No, that's true. Even though they were running a scheme in Fantastic Mr. Fox. No, I'm just saying that like it's for years you'd hear about out of control inflation, but then it's like, no, there really
No,
is no
never was.
inflation. A lot of this is like, hey, you know what? We liked what happened here with the pandemic where we were able to like jack up the price of toilet paper.
Yeah,
Let's keep it at that price. And you know what? We'll just claim that, oh, sorry, there's a what do they call that? Like where stuff they have a hard time making things. There's a
yeah, like a supply
supply
chain or
chain.
production issue.
Yeah.
They're
No,
fucker.
sorry.
Meanwhile, that you see like on page 6 of the paper or whatever, it's like Walmart heiress loses fifth boat. Like misplaced her fifth yacht or something.
Yeah.
Like it's
Orca attacks Walmart Harris's 50th boat.
yeah, it's always like
It was one of her 5 favorites.
never enough with these people. It's never fucking enough. There's never
No.
enough money for them. They can never have too much. They can never hoard enough. And they're like gathering together to try to like rip off people who need eggs, like fucking eggs, like
Well, they're just like, hey, you know what? We can charge $1 more. Why not? I mean,
ridiculous.
like I said, there's an interesting. We'll move on to the actual what we were going to talk about, but like, I saw this awesome TikTok. Someone was talking about like billionaires now versus billionaires back in the day. Carnegie is a good
Yeah.
example of like they call it like a social contract or something. They talked about like, I mean, regardless of what Carnegie made his money or whatever it is, I'm sure it's pretty unscrupulous. But he gave a lot of money. He put a
Yeah.
lot into the infrastructure. He put like I guess we have like tons of libraries because of him.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like so many. Then they said today he would be worth like $400 million. So that would put him up there with like Bezos and Elon
Yeah.
Musk. And you see like the billionaires now, and they don't do shit. If
They don't do
anything,
dick.
they tried to degrade the infrastructure. Elon Musk is famous for destroying what would have been a great helping destroy what would have been a great light rail system from
Yeah.
like San Francisco to LA. That would have like been such a massive game changer. Oh my God, that would have been like I don't
I'll
think
say
people.
Bill Gates probably does a decent amount of stuff. He really he's like
That's I
malaria.
don't know. During the pandemic, I heard some real disgusting shit, like how he made sure that countries couldn't get the vaccine. Like, it's like, what the
Could be.
fuck, dude? Like, you should let these people make the fucking vaccine. Like this is how
Yeah.
you stop the virus. I don't know. I know what you mean. Like, there seems to be somewhat good, but like he got a lot of like attention for. My dad was working for the school system in New York, and I remember hearing one day my dad's like, "Yep, everything changed," and he's like, "I'm like, why? What happened?" He's like, Bill Gates decided to. Him and his wife decided to pump a ton of money into schools, and they changed fucking everything. How the
Yeah.
school run? Because a billionaire who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing when it comes to
Yeah.
school
That part
decided.
is true too. They get it in their head that like when Bill Gates did pump a lot of money into schools, but he did it in a way that's like, oh well, technology is the answer to everything, and technology is the answer to some things, but it's not the answer to everything. So I don't know. Well,
Well, whatever he did ended up being a colossal failure.
I will say that yeah, millionaires back in the day were built a little different. Not all of them, but a lot of them did want to. Uh, I don't know if it was like out of ego or it turned out to be a good thing for whatever the motivation. But like
I
you
mean, yeah,
can't.
we could, the joke is we could look at it back then. Someone could be like, yeah, it's bullshit. Carnegie thinks he could buy us off or whatever, But you look back now, you just like, you look at like
Well, you
Bezos,
look
you
in.
look at Elon Musk, and you look at somebody who, they said there was like some kind of social contract that was
Yeah.
expected where like,
Well, you look in
fuck, even like the Koch brothers, you see like they make museums. The fucking
Yeah.
Walmart family, you would see like they like totally made like Bentonville nice. Like I had to go there
Right.
a couple times. So it was like pretty decent.
Yeah. No, I heard that Bentonville, unlike a lot of places in Arkansas, has like indoor plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
They
People only marry their cousin and not their sister in Bentonville.
they're up to like 60-70% shoe wearing in that.
Yep. There's an average of 19 teeth in each mouth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I heard this is crazy in the big city of Bentonville.
Uh
People speak with two syllable words.
yeah. No, that's all true. That's all true. So good for
Yeah,
them.
they don't wear shit kickers. They wear manure pushers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the average person there owns 4 to 5 pairs of overalls, which I think is
Yep.
a good sign of their prosperity.
They don't have a piece of wheat sticking out of their mouth.
No.
They have a toothpick.
Oh yes, yeah, and they did convert the last of their Sambo's restaurants to a Denny's, so it's progress.
Yeah, progress.
All right, so
Really bring back to the community. People are like anyone from Arkansas is listening is like, yeah, they're right.
you got us.
Now I've been to what's that town in Arkansas?
Little
Fayetteville.
Rock. Oh
What?
yeah,
No, Fayetteville. That
yeah.
was nice. Yeah, people had their teeth. I remember.
Yeah, my brother lived in a really rural, poor part of Arkansas for a little while. His wife at the time worked for the federal government, and they got transferred there and whatever. And when I visited him, we drove down to Little Rock, and I loved Little Rock. I mean, it felt like a really cool, kind of progressive, modern city. Very few banjos playing in the street.
Hey,
And
nothing wrong with banjos, dude.
no, it was good. I liked it, and honestly, I give Arkansas a hard time, but it's mostly because of Huckabee.
Yeah, stop voting for people like that, and we'll give you
Exactly.
a hard time.
That's it.
Sorry.
I mean, like Arkansas has like so much going. But a lot of those southern states really could make a great run for it if they just
Stop voting
voted.
for
They
scumbags.
voted for people that were in their own best interests. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
All
So we
right. Well,
got
speaking of best interest, Henry
yeah.
Kissinger decided today to do the world favor, and he moved on to the next stage.
Yes.
I would like to say that he probably went back to his home world, which is a like one of the dimensions of hell.
Right. Sure.
You know, they're like, he shows up. They're like, Henry, you're back. You're like, oh, yes, I'm back. I don't know. That's how he talked. He's like,
Yeah.
lovable, Henry Kissinger. He saw him and he was like, that guy, he's supposed to be like the doctor of death or something. That
Yeah.
guy.
I think, and like this is no small thing, but I think the big thing people remember and criticize him for is escalating the war in Vietnam and
Well, then there's Cambodia, right?
Yeah, I think he was responsible for the bombings in Cambodia.
Do you think he got to see his old friend Pol Pot in hell?
Yeah, which is really like just awful. I mean that whole era
Pol
was
Pot.
like, yeah, right.
Ted Kennedy's.
Yeah, that's a
Pol
yeah.
Pot.
Honestly, that's how I learned about.
So I learned about all my dictators was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't really know much about. I mean, I knew about the Vietnam War, but then when I heard Holiday in Cambodia, I started reading about it. I had no idea who Pol Pot was. They start like chanting that at the end of the song, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And I asked my dad. I remember I asked my dad about it. And he like gave me a good explanation of it, and then I read about it, and it was just like, oh, it was really gruesome stuff. I don't know. I mean, he's like definitely a throwback to a different era. I mean,
he was like some weird like attention getter too, right? During like the Nixon administration.
Yeah,
was he like a little superstar in some fucking weird way?
He did really kind of seem to covet the spotlight.
Supposedly he was he loved the ladies. So I think that was the
I don't, I guess I shouldn't say this for sure, but it seems like he was one of the first like celebrity politicos or whatever. Like, people prior to this, like, people knew the presidents and they knew that, but like in my memory at least, this was the time, it makes sense because color TV was in everyone's house by this time, and they were broadcasting a lot of this stuff. It makes sense that he would be one of the first celebrity politicos.
And the accent and everything, it made him like sound a little bit exotic. And here's this guy, and he comes off like he's intelligent, and but wasn't he involved too with like everything that went on in what was it, Chile? Is that it with
Pinochet? And yeah, I think so. I think he just had like a really far-reaching grasp on it. I don't know about
like one of the older neocons, pretty much.
He was like an old school, I guess they'd call him a paleocon or whatever. I mean, he was like the original con.
Yeah, he only he refused to eat anything processed.
No, but they like the neocons, I think, model themselves after what they now call the paleocons, like the Stone Age.
It sounds ridiculous.
It does sound ridiculous, but that worldview shaped conservative thought for a long time. And it's weird now because like Henry Kissinger, it doesn't work with MAGA, I mean, like in a lot of ways, because Henry Kissinger would be glad to spend a bunch of money on some foreign country.
Yeah,
that's what he wanted to do. He wanted American global, exceptionalism to spread across the globe and to like influence everything. And their big thought was they're fighting an existential war of capitalism versus communism.
I mean, this is the same shit. It's the same thing during the Iraq War. We heard the same thing. Like, once the Iraqis see the American freedom that we bring to them, they will surely switch sides. And it's it's like, this is really just propaganda for us dumbass Americans who don't realize that, we're told these people live horribly. They live in caves. They're not there. And we're going to bring them McDonald's, and all of a sudden they're going to get to enjoy the American, that we have here. And it's complete bullshit. They have a culture. They had cities. They have like their own, it's more for our dumbasses to like eat that bullshit up.
Yeah. It's weird. Like I see like a lot of the modern conservatives will like look up to Kissinger and Reagan and all those conservatives that you and I grew up kind of like knowing about and hating. But like the modern conservatives, I'm using like air quotes when I say that, they really don't have any, there are no people like Kissinger left. I mean, like, I guess like when Biden is,
I would say fucking what's his face is like it. He's just more repulsive. Trump's guy, what's his name? That weasel.
Steve Bannon and
no, not him. It's Miller.
Roger Stone.
Miller.
Oh, Stephen Miller. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say he's probably like, if you look at his administration, he probably is the closest thing to like a Kissinger. You know, it's just some like, I don't know. Not to say that they are the same or they have the same beliefs or anything like that. I don't.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
That's how it comes off. You know, I think the joke about Kissinger over the years is just that, you know, we would see all these like beloved celebrities, especially like the joke was like, you know, Betty White dies right before 100. She dies. Like all these like people that, and then you see this guy and you're like, how's this motherfucker still alive? Like, what is keeping him alive? So it's kind of become like a joke. Like one of the funny memes was death at a claw machine, and he keeps grabbing the wrong, like he was trying to get Kissinger. And then someone, I reposted, someone posted it, said, got him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like so weird though, because it's like this guy, you know, he got to live a very long life.
Yep.
He got to be respected. He got,
he's still
a joke. It's like karma got him. No, karma didn't get, never got him. I mean, unless there's some personal shit that we don't know about, as far as we know, he faced no consequences for anything he did. It's interesting. Robert McNamara, is that the guy?
Yeah.
The one who like
repented on like, his
second like awakening of like realizing, oh shit, I was involved with like this horrible project. And like I there's really not much I could do. I'm guilty, or like what he showed some kind of guilt. Some kind of sympathy for what happened. And I don't know if Kissinger ever did. I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think the big thing is that like when Kissinger kind of, I guess, architected or was the architect of that carpet bombing in Cambodia, it's just like really like ghoulish stuff, you know, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you sleep at night after having like ordered the carpet bombing of a country, you know, but he slept just fine.
The kind of person who sleeps like that is the kind of person who doesn't give a shit.
Probably on one of those mattresses from that guy.
No, yeah, that's it. No, they're sociopaths. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're not, they don't have an issue sleeping.
That's it. You know,
that says it right there. They don't. What is he guilty of? Doing his job? That's probably how he would think. He was like, yeah, I did my job. This is what I was.
Well, I mean, they justify it by saying like, well, we kept America safe or whatever. But like,
some bullshit.
You didn't.
Actually, if anything, you probably made it unsafe for us. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's what's going on in Israel right now. Is that it's a fact? Is that Netanyahu and the Likud party has proven to make Israel less safe for Israelis than it by their actions. I said the same thing about after 9/11 with Bush and what they did the Iraq War. No, we made the world less safe by doing that. Like, it's absolutely insane. So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know 100% about like the history of Kissinger. It's just like it's become kind of a meme and a joke with this fucking like fossil. I think he used to be like 7 feet tall now, and I think he literally shriveled up into Yoda.
Like he was like Yoda. Like the bodies in the first Phantasm, where the tall man would shrink him down to like 3 feet tall, and then ship him off to another dimension.
Things. They wear like Jawa hoodies.
That's what he was slowly transforming into over the last 70 years.
That's beautiful. I guess maybe that was the price he paid. He went from being like, you know, over 6 feet tall to like 3 feet tall.
He said he lost an inch of his height for every 1,000 people he killed.
Every million people he killed.
Yeah.
He'd be really short if it was 1,000.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. expect some funny drawings in the next couple of people.
Yeah, I honestly, my gut is that that he's that people of our age will know him and we'll talk about him a lot over the next few days.
I think a lot of people know him just because of the meme of him
Yeah,
like outliving people.
but I think the problem, his problem, legacy wise, is he doesn't have nobody's advocating for him because leftists and progressives and liberals, they don't want anything to do with this guy, and all the modern conservatives are more like America First isolationists for the most part, and don't want to cheer someone who
Hillary Clinton liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem is, and too, is that he lived to such this long age. Because people were like, "Wait, he was still alive."
Yeah.
That his death is inconsequential. It's not gonna change anything. It's not gonna make a difference. He lived his life. He became like he got to enjoy being like an elderly statesman, get paid to do speeches, paid to, make appearances, be respected in the mainstream media, and be a personality, be invited to galas and events, and have probably things named after him. And his dying, it's a funny meme of like, "Ha, got him finally," right. But like no one's life is going to be saved by his passing.
No, and it's like I said, if you had asked me on any given day, it's 50-50 if I could have remembered him as being alive or dead anyway. I think most people have kind of like written his death off as like, if not having already happened, as being like in eventuality. Like most people kind of assumed he was going to.
I'm just glad Mel Brooks is still
yeah, right.
I mean, I think he's still a little younger. I think he's like 97 or 98.
That sounds right.
But I'm glad that and Dick Van Dyke is still alive too.
Yeah, he's a good one.
So he didn't out. I mean, he was 100. Man, 100 years old. That's crazy. Then you see those people who look like 120, and you're just like, what the fuck? 20? You were 120 years. That's insane. Do you wake up like every day and you're like, I don't know, I guess I might die today? Or do you get to the point where you reach over 100 and you're just like, I clearly am invulnerable.
Yeah.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
There was I had this set of cards by Chuck Klosterman, and it was like basically theoretical questions. They're supposed to start conversations at parties. And one of them was, at what age would you begin to think that you might be immortal? Like, because clearly, like, if people live to be 90, people live to be 100, but like if you hit 125 and you're still like in pretty good shape, are you beginning to think like, I could make a run at this? I think
I might live another decade or two.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know. That's crazy. I always think it's kind of funny though. Like if you live past like 100, you were old for like 60 years.
Oh yeah.
Like we start to go, things start to just drop after 30. It's just a fact. Some things you just notice, some things you don't. You get a little older, you're like, oh, this doesn't work as well. This isn't happening right, or that shouldn't hurt. And then you're like, do the people that live to 100, did they have that? Did they just live like that for 60 years?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it gets to the point because you look old too. So like, it'd be one thing if you lived to like 120 and you got to look like, young up to like 70.
I think that'd be weird. Like maybe because like I know like bones get brittle when you get old, but maybe if you get really old, they get soft again. Like when they put when they put a whole chicken in a can, and like
yeah, if the wind blows, you just scatter like a gelatin in a windy picnic. Just like they would just shake, and then eventually pieces of it start coming off.
Yeah, like if you have a lemon that you haven't used, it gets like hard after a while, but then it gets soft again. So it's like maybe people are like that. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
So I saw For All Mankind.
Speaking of But we were talking, yeah.
Actually, this is kind of it's weird because this is like
Well, you have a bunch of characters who are aging. They're like got to be like in their 70s at this point. Margot and
yep.
Ed, is that his name, Ed?
Yeah, and this is honestly an alternate view of the world in which Henry Kissinger would probably still be really relevant. Like,
oh yeah, I mean the Soviet Union's still active, but
yep.
I think he's you don't ever see him mentioned. Probably in the first season he probably gets mentioned, but again, the Iraq War, I'm not the Iraq War, Vietnam War, I think ended earlier in this world. Like everything just changed. It all became about like space and like.
Yeah. I thought this week's episode, which took place last Friday, was really great. I know it's weird. The last episode 2, which was the week before, had this great sequence where it was literally split screen. There was like a line down the middle of the screen, and they showed good old Gloppy Dale going through his bullshit life in the cellar of the space station, and then they showed Danielle Poole, the new captain, and everything, like she's eating caviar and he's
well, with caviar, but she was eating better. She was eating well, and he was eating like
a lobster stuffed with caviar, and he's like literally eating a dick sandwich. And then, so anyway, but it was a great scene.
Sandwich.
But in this episode 3, it's a little more subtle, but there's a scene in the middle of it where there's clearly a coup occurring in the Soviet Union, and poor Margot's just getting put through the fucking ringer.
Dude, her in the end too, where she it reminded me of another ending. I swore that I gotta find there was like another show that had like a similar thing where a character wakes up in a different place and like they were like tortured, and the new character like takes them and says, "Come with me," and they're just like, and it ended exactly the way as I swore there was some show I watched that had a very similar vibe because Margot was like stunned. There was some dude whose head was blown off right in front of her. It's like hanging. So she gets in the last episode, Margot, just spoilers. Margot is this character, worked for NASA for years. Something happened last season, and she had to defect because she was trading secrets with her friend, and Russia used it to blackmail her. And then she had to escape. I guess she used the bombing in NASA was a way for her to get out of there. But I guess we've learned in this episode that the woman who's like her protege, what's her face? The one who ends up working with Dev.
I forget her name. It begins with an A. It's not Amelia. It's Aleda.
Yeah, or something like that. She's aware that Margot's still alive because she says like she's like a traitor or something.
Well, it's weird because she and who's the guy in the wheelchair that she visits?
The guy who's
Bill.
Yeah, he's one of the older guys from like the first season, and I guess he got hurt.
Yeah, well, she says that the Soviet Union like pressured Margot, and he is like, no, she's so funny.
They're right next to each other on IMDb.
Oh, that's funny.
And Bill's the guy who ends up in a wheel. Who's find
out
it's in a wheelchair. It's kind of a shut-in.
Aleda is the one who turned Margot in, and now Aleda feels a little mixed. She's like, well, maybe she had her reasons for doing that.
Well, and then maybe she doesn't know if she's alive. Then maybe she just thinks of her as a traitor and thinks she's dead.
I don't know. Well, in and it's hard to tell. Like in Russia, Margot tells people at one point she claims to be Canadian, and then she asked to call the American consulate, and so like it was real unclear to me as to like her status. She claims to be
Canadian because the joke is it's safer to say you're Canadian than American, and that didn't work. So I guess when she got caught, and then that guy was interrogating, that's when everything changed. And then that guy gets killed by another interrogator comes. Did that interrogator get killed too, or did he just get ordered to take her down? I
think he just leaves and we don't see him again.
Yeah, then she gets a bag on
her. Oh no, he comes back and cuts her down and says bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she still has fucking blood on her, and she like wakes up, or I guess she gets driven to a place, and it's clearly like it looks like it's what is like Soviet Union's like NASA.
Yeah.
And you see like the cosmonaut in the front, because you gotta remember, like this is a totally different world. Russia landed on the moon first. So that would totally be a game changer for the Soviet Union. Soviet Union still exists in the year 2000. Was it 2003, 2004?
Something like it's maybe even 2010. It's after 2000.
It's 2000. I think it's like 2004.
Okay.
And she see the cosmonaut. It clearly looks like this was like what NASA was, and whatever coup is going on. This woman, she's a higher up, but she's clearly not like she's gonna benefit from the coup because she gets to like work on the space. She clearly run the space program, and she brings Margot aboard, and we'll see what happens. I like that this woman doesn't really have like a thick accent or anything.
No, and it's hard to tell. I mean, obviously she's nicer to Margot than anyone else has been so far, but it's like you get the feeling that this is not like salvation.
Would drop Margot like a fucking hot potato.
And that's what's going on in the Soviet Union is these constantly shifting power struggles. But like at the end of the episode too, you see basically the capitalist version of a coup where Dev comes in and starts firing people left and right, fires the finance people, and it's like it was just such a great contrast between like the two, like what a coup looks like in a capitalist country versus a communist country. Obviously the capitalist one is like bloodless.
Well, it's not a government coup. It's just a coup in a corporation, and it's done through just the ability of owning more stocks and having more backers.
Those lines have become so. I really started thinking like NASA's really gone downhill in this. We're seeing more of a NASA like we're used to in this season because there's Helios contractors on board. That thing, everything's kind of money driven. It's like it used to be that the president would just write NASA a blank check and NASA would go do science.
Well, I guess that's what last season was all about too, where a lot of people were like all the money's going towards NASA, it's killing jobs here.
Yep.
You took out jobs. So that could be it too. And who knows, everybody always wants to fuck with stuff and try to find a way to get money for their special project or their special interest. They want to pay like a bunch of people to come in and rob their stores so they can collect insurance.
Right.
So creating an atmosphere that we live in a global state. Therefore, we need to. Oh, sorry. That's what's happening in real life. So. Dev comes back into the picture thanks to Alita and
Kelly.
I mean, I don't know. The show's good. Oh yeah, it's funny. Last week we talked about Molly. Was that her name or her husband, who was kind of like the pothead?
Oh yeah.
Like, will he show up? And I said probably not because there's really no purpose for him. He did get brought up though in this.
He got a name drop
because he was there was that woman who I was like, man, is Ed gonna like make a move on this woman, the Russian lady? Do you remember that? And to his like little garden, and she has like back problems or something, and he's like, here, this is what I use, and he smokes a lot of weed. He grows it, and I guess he's not supposed to be doing it. I don't know, but
well, it's clearly hidden, and it's I mean, like it's clearly illegal.
Well, it's interesting. Like you find out more of the dynamics of in this season. So like North Korea has their own little area, which no one's allowed to cross. It's almost like a different country. It is literally a different country. Like you can't just go in there. But that one guy, our like I don't know, everyman guy that's this season, the one who went there to get a job and it's not working out the way and he's not making enough money. You were introduced to this like Russian guy like past couple episodes, and he like he has like it's like almost like the joke. It's like a prison, and he can get you anything in the prison, and that's kind of like what he is. He has like this underground bar, and he can get people things, and he has guys that like get him stuff to Mars. It sounds pretty insane, like the whole like he works for the guy, but he ends up like it's like funny. He fucks up something on like the still, the still, whatever, and that's where he go. Because he can, I guess his job is he's like an HVAC guy or something, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, which is like
he's able to important. They were looking up to see like because they said it would be like 6 months until they could get another one, and that would totally obviously kill that guy's business. So he sees it. Where is there another, like, I don't know, it was like a filter or knob or something, and he find out there's one in North Korea,
Yeah.
and that guy, who the guy who was the North Korean guy who was isolated last season that they discover was on Mars before them. You could tell he's definitely been a little more influenced by outside
Yeah.
forces.
It's a little westernized. Yeah.
Westernized, easternized, whatever, because you have Russians on there too, and
Yep.
but they're not living like the way the North Koreans are. So he's like, what happened? He pretty much like wants in on it or something, or
Well, it was weird.
he wants to get his wife. He tells the guy, "Get my wife here."
Yeah, he catches Dale swapping out the thermostat, and Dale's like, "You're gonna turn me in." I'm pretty sure the guy's name is Dale. Okay. He's like, he thought that he was gonna get turned in, and the North Korean guy's like, "No, I understand what you're doing, and I just want I want in on it." So Dale thinks he's gonna bring Lexi, or whatever the guy's name, a new customer, and he does, but this guy wants his wife smuggled up to the space station, which is like obviously a tall order, but probably real doable. I mean,
there's this one scene where, because he needs to make money, he's trying to make more money, and he starts making like a ton more money with this guy, and I guess they have some like ATM machine where he puts the money in or whatever. Yeah. Wouldn't somebody be like, "How are you?"
Right.
This is why, like, if you were doing like shady shit, this is why I like a lot of creeps and weirdos and like people who do unscrupulous stuff love crypto, because sometimes it can't be tracked. It's a way to launder. It's really just a way to launder money into something else, so that you don't have to, like, because if you go to the bank and you start, even if you take out like $1,000, they're gonna be like, "Hey, I was wondering, everything okay?
Yeah.
Why are you taking out $1,000 for? That's weird. Usually only take out like 100 or 200."
Well, anytime you make a big deposit or a withdrawal or whatever, they usually send in that information to the IRS anyway. I when I saw that ATM, that's the first thing I thought, is like, they're gonna ask him how where'd you get $6,000?
Yeah, like you make like
your paycheck was $400. Yeah.
What? Like, how are you making this? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah, because I was like, funny. He's like, "Yeah, I need to make money. I need to be." Yeah, how are you gonna send that money back to Mars? Like a ship in a bottle? Like,
they did say, like, in a previous scene, and I thought it was real weird. I think it was episode 1 or 2 where they're like, "You can do base script or this or whatever," and I was like, "Why the fuck bring that up?" But like, they could have been priming that plot point even back then, like,
there's ways to make extra money on there,
or that, like, this is how he got caught, or this is how he got away with it, because they did make it a point in a previous episode to talk about the money and how it works up there. I don't know, but it's a great show. I really like it. I think it's still sharp. I still kind of miss the old period pieces where they're in the 60s or 70s or 80s, just because it's fun to look at that stuff. But
I do like where it's going too, because I do like the completely unknown territory.
Yeah.
It's being like a totally different world. That will somehow still have the same pop culture as us, though.
Well, and for a while now, they've been kind of putting it in the background that Kelly and Aleda now have, for like 3 seasons now, or 2 at least, have been looking for life on Mars. It's not like little green man Mars, but like bacterial life or microbial life.
Way to get water. If you discover these type of things, then Mars can actually be a truly livable planet, versus like, this thing that they have bases on, but if they step out, they'll freeze to death and die in seconds, like.
Well, and I'm sure that, like, with a show like this, that if they really did discover alien life, meaning like, even if it's just a microbe or whatever, but if it had no origin on Earth, then they're probably going to talk about, like, well, what does this mean for religion? What does this mean for what people believe?
What does this mean for the stuff we make up?
Well, Well,
the made up bullshit. What this is gonna get in the way of my bullshit. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Well, these are clearly Jesus visited Mars and blessed it with the water god.
That was like the big plot point of that show Contact, or that movie Contact.
That movie?
Yeah.
That
which was really
lame.
good. I thought it was good.
That was good, but yeah, that was like the joke. That's why she lost out. It was because the other guy knew how to play
Yeah.
Tom Skerritt's character knew how to play the rubes when it came to religion. It was like that was a big pivotal thing.
Right.
And she was just too much of a science nerd to fall for that shit. But then she got to go anyway because, unfortunately Tom Skerritt died because of Gary Busey's son.
Was it him or was it
job blew it up?
Who that was Tom's who was Matthew McConaughey in that?
Yeah, he played like
the preacher.
The on again, off again, like her in the beginning they meet and they have like a
that's right, yeah,
or something, and then later on, he's like
that's right, yeah.
Dude. I don't know, the good looking religious guys brought up God. We should listen to him. I don't know why. Right. We just need to. It's very compelling. He's saying some real important shit here. And then he said, all right. And that's what that was. That took me out of the movie a little bit.
The other show we've been watching on Apple is Monarch.
Well, hold on. Do you think that because this had such a big ending, is with like the coup going on in like Helios, and then the kind of the coup going on obviously in Russia with Margot, do you think that there's going to be like a time jump next episode?
Oh, it could be.
Like a year or 6 months. I could see like 6 months.
That would make sense. They usually do a big time jump in the middle of the season anyway.
They usually do like 2 years, but I feel like this time around they won't. I feel like with the characters getting older, they only will jump like a little bit, maybe like 6 months, a couple months, like, maybe like obviously enough time where it makes sense that they were able to smuggle that guy's wife on or something. Because remember, like, isn't there like still only like windows that they could travel to Mars, and it takes like a certain amount of time?
No, they said that in the first episode. They said that the new plasma engines have made it so they don't have to rely on the Mars window. That was like in
the first... right, because that guy goes up there pretty quickly.
Yeah. And they said that it was a brief scene, but they said this new engine makes it so we can go to Mars whenever we want. I think it still takes some time. I don't think it's like, a day's flight, but
yeah, I would imagine it's still like a couple of weeks. Who the fuck knows?
Something like that. I don't know, because like honestly, like now that Margot, like the like some things are settled now. Like a few big, like Margot is settled in her new state in Russia, and Kelly and Aleda have latched on to Dev for good or for ill, and he's taken back over Helios. So yeah, I'll bet you it makes sense that they would go about 6 months or so in the future.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I could see that. Like, or maybe they do, maybe the season's like spread out where they do a couple little jumps here, like a couple, instead of like doing a gigantic jump, they do like 2 months here, and then they do another 2 months. So it ends up still being that kind of like 2 to 4 year span kind of doing their seasons, but it's not such a harsh jump.
Right. No, I'd like that. That'd be good.
Like last season, it made sense. Like, all right, we're all ready to go to Mars. And then the next episode was like a year or two later, and everything was ready to go. And then they all went. That was the race to Mars. It's like, we don't need to see the creation of the ships.
Right.
Happening. We knew how they were going to do it. And then you were able to like jump. But I feel like maybe with how things are going in this show, this season, it would make more sense if they just do little.
They've done a good job with the pace. This is one of the shows where they actually really have done a good job with the pacing.
I do hope it gets a 5th season, because I do like, clearly there is a story that was written. This isn't some, like you said, he had a 5-year plan, and I like that when you hear that, because it's like, then that means there's going to be less bullshit, because there's clearly like a direction they want to go
in. You're not going to get stuck with like a Cousin Oliver. Or it's like
Cousin Oliver, when he showed up on the in Mars, that was
it's so like dumb. No, we know what we're doing. And I think if I remember
guy
right,
could be like Cousin Oliver.
Yeah, he kind of is. If I remember right, he he sold them on the whole show, yeah. Hopefully,
like I said, I just think that I could see this show years from now having a following. If they are able to tell a nice complete story, they get those 5 years. I could see this show. I think it would be smart if Apple licensed it off to like Netflix or like whenever.
Yeah.
That show will just, I think it'll blow up.
If they make it more widely available. I just looked on my phone real quick, and season 5 has not been confirmed, but like all the headlines say it's likely because the show.
Well, who knows? Maybe the 4th season ends in a way that we don't need it. I don't know. And if it still tell a compelling story, and I'd be fine with that too. As long as, we're only like 4 episodes into the season. I think, what is it, like 10 or 12 episodes usually?
I think 10. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Before we move on to Monarch, I saw this funny TikTok. This girl was talking about, like, she went on this long thing and said, like, Apple does nothing to promote their shows. They said the only show on, she's like, yeah, I discovered this show. And I'm like, wait, it's on its 3rd season? Wait, you have like all these big celebrities, and you're like, wait, what? Wait, they don't do anything to promote the shows. Like, yeah, For All Mankind got a little bit of promotion. And then she brings up, like, the really funny thing is how Severance is the one that got the biggest push, the most, and it's like it got all these awards or nominations, and we have, who knows when the fuck we're ever going to get a season 2, like,
if ever.
Oh my god, dude, that would be nuts.
That's crazy, but
I would never recommend that show to anyone then if it didn't get a
nah,
because I would tell them, like, no, because there's all these insane cliffhangers, and they're never going to be resolved, and it's just going to make you crazy because it's that good of a show that you want to know these things.
Yeah, it is crazy good. It's probably not even probably. It is one of the best shows I've ever seen.
No,
it's like top 10 at least.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it is definitely in the top 10 shows I think of all time almost. Like, it was that good that first season. Like, I don't know. I'm curious what they do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But speaking of another show that's on Apple, and I wonder if and I think it's odd that it's on Apple. It's a strange one. Like,
it is. Again, it doesn't feel like
why
an
was
Apple
this
show.
Not on Max? Why was this like?
Well,
on Max, this makes no sense.
I will say it would fit on Max, but like it feels like an Apple show. It is super slick. It's filmed beautifully.
Well, I say it's on Max because I think like New Line. Well, I don't know if they're like owned by WB, but I think they're like, the Godzilla movies and the King Skull Island, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Those were all like put out, I think, by WB. So that's why I'm like, why would you not have these movies?
Right.
This show should be on Max of all. I mean, I don't care either way. I'm watching either way. So yeah, what do you think of the 3rd episode?
I thought it was good. It was weird. Like nothing major happened from what I could tell. I mean, like they're obviously on the trail of the father, and they go to Alaska, and you get the feeling that there are more monsters on the planet than you may have previously thought. And it was really
smaller, more budget friendlier monsters, ones that don't require huge landscapes because they're only like 25, 50 feet tall versus like 400 feet tall.
Yeah, most of it's under ice. But yeah, it was really good. It was good. I thought this episode moved more quickly. It seemed more streamlined.
It did. It was pretty quick. I think it was maybe shorter. I will say though, I felt like it was a little choppy. Like, all of a sudden they're at the beach and spoilers, Godzilla shows up. And this is actually a pivotal scene that was depicted in the beginning. If you watch the first Godzilla movie from 2014, not the first one, but the first one that Monarch series based on, they show a bombing of like Godzilla or something in the 50s, and like the guy painting the bomb and everything. That is supposedly in the movie. So this all ties in together. I think it does a good job of like tethering like the universe. It'd be kind of cool if like I wonder if like, well, who knows what will happen? Maybe Kurt Russell will perish in the end. I'll say like if he makes it into the next
Yeah.
Congress Godzilla movie or whatever. But I have a theory,
Okay.
and it's I could see this. I think that he is those kids' grandfather. That that was his son. He kind of hints at. He says like I viewed him as a son,
Yeah.
and he totally dig that woman, even though supposedly she
Yeah.
ends the other guy. I think that he's the grandfather. It's gonna be revealed that he's the grandfather
All
of.
right, that would make a lot of sense.
I mean, if he's not, he's not. It's not gonna make a difference in the show. But I wouldn't be surprised if they throw that little twist in the end. He's like, "Yeah, I'm the grandpa."
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, it is good. I like that scene too of them on the beach, kind of in the past, luring Godzilla out with a big atomic bomb sandwich. But it reminded me of like
It
the
just happened so abruptly. Like, oh wait, Godzilla's showing up. I'm like, this should feel like a
yeah.
bigger deal, and it didn't.
It
It didn't
also
seem that big of a deal.
yeah. It also like I get why the woman was said like this is wrong, we shouldn't do this, and she was like sad that they tried to obliterate Godzilla, but like it
Wasn't
didn't
her
make
country also bombed like
yeah it
a
didn't
couple
make sense
years
for
earlier?
her. It didn't make sense for her character, like because up until that point we didn't see her care for these monsters. She was studying them, she was like in awe of them, but like to all of a sudden for her to be like emotional about it. I was like, well, wait, why is this happening? You know, I mean,
I
like,
feel
didn't
like a
she knew
lot
what
of
they were
it's
gonna
out
do,
of
right?
order, and it'll make sense more as the
Could be.
season goes on.
That
I
could
will
be.
just say that if I was the reaction, I think the other thing is my issue with it. The reaction to Godzilla was not big enough. Like I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like I mean, they knew that there was some kind of monster. They discovered the footprint,
Right.
that there had to have been something that was that huge, and they're like standing in it. But like, I don't know, like the one general says magnificent, but it sounds like he
Yeah.
was the bombing. But I was just saying, like, dude, if I was one of those soldiers and I saw a fucking
Right.
like 400-foot dinosaur come out of the water and then roared, I'd be a little
Yeah.
more like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know, like a little
Right.
more not. Yeah, I think I'd lose my cool a little bit. You know, like when
Yeah.
I was a kid, I went over to my friend's house and I saw a flat-faced cat for the first time, and I'd never seen one of those before in my life. And my reaction was like, "What the fuck was that?" So if I saw like a 400-foot flat-faced cat,
Yeah.
I would probably react a little more. I'd
Yeah.
be
A little more animated.
like, "Oh my god, yeah, yeah." I'd be that one actor that one extra they would fire. They'd be like, "No, this is a little too much. You gotta do a
Yes,
little."
I would.
I
I
mean, I
would
get it. They're in the military and they have to be cool,
right,
but
right.
that's not normal. You don't see 400-foot monsters.
Well, maybe that wasn't the first time they'd seen it, because you're right that maybe they are telling it a little bit out of order, and maybe they've been
I'm like,
tracking.
are they aware? I'm like, did they mention this monster in the second episode? Like, hey, yeah, this is thing that exists. Because I was also like, how did that guy know to draw
Yeah.
Godzilla on the bomb? So clearly, we're gonna find out like a year
Right.
before there was some interaction, or they spotted it somewhere else. Did he
Yeah.
destroy something somewhere else? Like,
I don't know. It was a cool scene though, in that it was like those, you see like archival footage where they were detonating nuclear weapons at the Bikini Atoll, like you see old footage of that, and I thought that was kind of a good parallel. But it's a good show. It's a good show, but I don't 100% know why I like it, other than it's just like a good fun show. I mean,
yeah,
it's uh but I'm real curious to see where it goes, and I could definitely see it getting another season. I could see them doing a whole bunch with this show. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I like it. The ending was cool. We got
yep.
to what's his face guest starred this episode. The actor who plays was he Chosen or something for
Oh
Chosen
yeah,
from
I think you're
Cobra
right.
Kai, Karate Kid 2.
Yes.
Spoilers. I don't think he made it past this episode.
He definitely appears to die in this episode.
Yeah. They do they bring up like an interesting fact though, like Kurt Russell's character should be like they said, are you like 100 years old? You look great. How are you?
Yeah.
He makes some joke about how he has good genes, but I've seen like theories being floated around. Like clearly he's exposed to something because he's around these like Titans so much. They call them Titans and everything.
Yeah.
That something rubbed off, and that's why he has like he's almost like he lives a longer life, or he looks like a guy who's like in his late 60s, like
right,
versus someone who should be like in his mid to late 90s.
Well, they do keep throwing that theory of teleportation around, and you could see like him like getting teleported with a Titan and that causing some sort of time dilation.
We'll find out as the show goes on. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, that was like as cool as with Sea Godzilla. I just thought it was a little odd of like they were just like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, he's like a mile or two away. He's not going to affect us.
Right. Yeah.
We're okay.
All right. Well, we watched
400-foot lizard. It's going to take him a while to get here.
We watched another show. You told me about it, and I'd been meaning to watch it, but then I finally did watch it. What is it? Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Is that what they're calling this one?
I think so.
Yeah.
They got. Hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta turn off the heat. It's not here.
It was a reboot. It was difficult for me to figure. There was a Scott Pilgrim graphic novel for a long time, and then they made that movie.
Yep.
And then now this is a miniseries, and they're all variations on the same story. That threw me at first.
This one, I mean, you feel like when you first start watching, you're like, okay, this is gonna be like I'm gonna be familiar with it because of the movie, and this is clearly gonna go more in depth because it's gonna adapt more of the comic.
But that changes in like episode 2.
No, at the end of episode 1, you're spoilers. This is like an anime cartoon in the style. It's done in the style of the book. They got all the original. I think they got pretty much all the original voices from the movie.
If not, they got most of them. And it feels like stylistically, I know it's not an exact fit, but do you ever watch that? They call it like Fooly Cooley. It was FLCL. Did you ever watch that anime?
I don't remember.
It reminds me a lot of that. It feels and I'm not a huge anime fan, but I loved FLCL. They made one series, and then recently they made like a second and third one. But that original series, I think there's 6 episodes or so, were so perfect. The music, all the little elements remind me of this show. Remind me of FLCL.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just say it nails that 90s vibe, like it really does.
So the big, it follows everything. He meets Ramona, they get it on and everything, and then it's the day of like his show, his band's playing.
Yep.
And that guy shows up. He was like the Indian guy who kind of did like it was like a Bollywood scene. Like he would sing and everything, and they had dancers, demons show up.
Yeah.
Except we are led to believe that he killed Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
He punched him and he turned to coins. And so Scott Pilgrim's dead in the first episode. And you're like, what? And it just changes the entire show completely. So the movie, the show, everything. So that character who beats him ends up deciding to challenge Jason Schwartzman's character, who was supposed to be the main bad guy.
Gideon.
And he ends up beating him, and he ends up becoming the most powerful character. And there's like that plot going on, and then Ramona ends up trying to find out, like she realizes that he's not dead, that he was like portaled out or something.
Yes.
And there's like, so you get to meet all these characters now from like different perspectives. Like it focuses on Ramona a lot, and which I could see some chuds getting upset about. But I would imagine the kind of people like Scott Pilgrim are not the kind of people who would get upset about like diversity.
Yeah, it's a pretty yeah, it's not like super diverse or anything, but it's a very like liberal mindset type of.
It doesn't seem like the same kind of person who like Scott Pilgrim like would. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just don't see that. I think that person who would watch this would be like the first maybe be thrown back for a second, and then be like, "Hey, this is kind of cool." So then you know the interaction with the seven ex boyfriends of you know the one
yeah,
girlfriend
evil exes.
uh or Anne from Arrested Development. It was the
Yeah,
ninja. Is that you get to see these characters more fleshed out, and they're like just people. They're not like these. They're not so
they're not evil.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
They're not really evil. They're, you know, they get to be their own characters, and they all kind of move on, and everyone's like almost better off. And then you find out later. It's not until like the sixth episode that you find out what happened to
it's
Scott
late.
Pilgrim.
Yeah,
And I thought this was a cool little twist. Instead of because everybody else you get to see an older Ramona Flowers, and it's still voiced by what's her face?
Mary Winstead.
Yeah,
Yep.
who was recently in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
She played that lady with the green tails on her head.
Yep.
Um, that you find out he's like taken to the future, and you meet an older Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
and it's voiced by instead of being voiced by what's his name, Michael Cera, it's voiced by Will Forte, which I thought was like it's a good little trick because by doing that, it makes him almost into a different character.
Different character, yeah.
Yeah, and Will Forte has a really good ability of making truly pathetic people like characters, playing like characters that are just kind of pathetic. He's really good.
He was in The Last Man on Earth, right? That was him.
Yeah, that was a great show. Yeah, that show was funny. He was in that movie recently that I can't say it was good or bad. It was a movie called Strays. It kind of follows a dog and his dog friends, and they talk and everything. And he plays like a shitty owner. He's great in it. So yeah, it's revealed that so you find out he's like the bad guy, this oldest Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
And then they show him 10 years later and he looks like a Street Fighter character. He's like ridiculous, the Will Forte character. He ends up being like kind of like just a different character, even though it's supposed to be the same guy. So I thought that was like a good little twist of like separating him from Michael Cera's character.
Yes, I agree.
And he becomes this more ridiculous character, and it's actually almost interesting. It kind of reminded me like they were borrowing from. There was a storyline in the Hulk where they introduced this bad guy called the Maestro, and the Maestro is this evil dictator in the future. He's the Hulk.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
But he's like a different character. Like he's just look even
changed
though
so much.
Big, he sounds like Will Forte, which was weird when it was made in 1992, the comic. No,
right.
It's really cool, but they did a good job of like, even though like, yeah, that's the Hulk, it felt like a totally different character. It didn't just look like Hulk with a beard. It was like something about it. Just he didn't. Yeah. He was like a different character, and that's the kind of I feel like whoever had to kind of borrow from that and other whatever. No. It was cool. I enjoyed it. I got really into it. Like I ended up burning through them pretty quickly. Like, you know, they're like 20 minutes long.
Yep, they're so like under a half hour.
So I mean, you can knock it out pretty quick. And I liked it, and it was awesome that they were able to get like Brie Larson. I'm pretty sure what's his face. Yeah, that was Chris
Evans. Yep, they
all came back, and it's interesting too because you know, it wasn't like a movie that was like a huge financial success. It did okay. It's not. I think they probably thought it would have done better. I always called it like I called this movie like a Comic-Con movie. Where
I can see that.
It was like announced at Comic-Con, everyone goes nuts, and they're like, yeah, and I think it's like the best thing because there's like thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in attendance. But it's like, yeah, but you know what, at the end of the day, it's still super niche.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was awesome to know that they were able to make this, that the people who were attached to this project liked it and believed in it and enjoyed working on it, that they were willing to come back and do the cartoon. I thought that was like really awesome.
It seemed like what they say, like a labor of love, you know. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I think
they must have had fun working on it, because I could just imagine if like it wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, no one
Or who
would.
knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they signed some insane ironclad project, and this was considered the sequel that everyone was supposed to do if it was
I
successful.
don't
I
know.
don't fucking know. I'm not.
I do know. I really like the idea of taking a story and telling it different ways. Like I like that they did a new version of the old story rather than a new story. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty clever. I like that. I think it's also cool that, like, if you look at this was a comic book, and then it was a live action movie, and now it's a animated series. I mean, I think that's kind of really
The
cool.
series goes, it gives you like a whole new product. I thought when they announced that this was just going to be like, okay, this is probably going to be just a longer version of the movie, but more true to the book, like a closer adaptation because they have more time to work on it.
Right.
But that's not the case. It ended up being just a completely different thing. And that's awesome in itself. And it gets to kind of live on its own. Yep. And you don't really compare it to the movie because it just stems off in a different direction.
Yeah.
Like the villains all some of them become friends. Like it's kind of funny, you know. I like young Neil becomes like a director. He somehow but there was like a funny little gag. The director of the movie, no, he was the writer of the movie. The director of the movie was voiced by the Kevin McDonald from. I'm like, listen, I recognize that.
Oh
voice.
yeah, from Kids
in the
Hall.
From Kids in the Hall, and it is in Canada, so it
that's
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you know what his name was though? The director?
I don't remember.
Well, there's Edgar Wright who made the movie.
Yeah.
His name was Edgar Wrong.
Oh, jeez.
So that's stupid. Funny. His name was Edgar Wrong.
Yeah, I like that. I like
it. Pretty funny.
It's definitely worth. You will know within the first episode if it's worth your time to continue. When I watched the first episode, I was like, I'm in.
Give it 2 episodes. Don't just shut it off after the second one. Like it gets so good. Like I saw some people like make their own little shitty comments or whatever. I don't care. So I enjoy it. Am I gonna go back and rewatch it? I doubt it, but I really don't go back and watch a lot of shows.
Yeah, it's rare for me to do that.
Like movies, I'll go back and watch. It's very rare. They'll go back and watch a show. It's like it's got to be something exceptional or whatever. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, if you like the movie and you like the books, I never read I never read the books. I never
did either.
I always kind of found them annoying looking when I saw them, the graphic novels.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen this and saw the movie, I still have no interest in reading the comics, but whatever. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
and it looks great too. The animation's great. It's really well done.
Music's fantastic.
They look like they put some money into it. Like as simplistic as it looks, sometimes it doesn't. It's like it's really good.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
I like every day when they would show Ramona change her hair
color.
And then like the cat would go like. But did you like the ending though, when she kind of just showed her hair, her like it was I guess she's actually blonde or it's from the bleach. She only put like a little bit of dye in it.
I got the feel I thought she bleached it or that
well, it was always bleached. That's how she changes the dye. That's why it's vibrant, but she doesn't add like another color in.
That manic pixie color. Yeah. I don't know. I liked it. I thought the whole thing was really good.
I like that her bag was like a portal, and like Scott's head was in there.
Yeah. Some of that stuff got a little cute for me.
It was definitely on the cute side.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, in a good way, I guess.
Like I liked how things were different too. Like MV Adams, she looked more like an anime character than she did in the movie. Like Brie, she didn't look like Brie Larson. She looked, and I think that's really how she looks in the cartoon or whatever. I mean, the comic.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. The vegan powers, I always thought that was kind of funny. I liked it in the movie when you find out he breaks the rules and the vegan police show up.
Yeah.
So stupid. Yeah, I think the movie was, I don't know if it was like ahead of its time or it was just too niche. I don't know. Like there were probably like people who like, you know, the kind of people who liked Iron Man were not going to like Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I think the kind of people that liked Buckaroo Banzai liked.
Oh, they would love.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Buckaroo Banzai is weird.
Yeah.
I was at the store the other day. We were talking to one of the younger guys who worked there, and we were talking about RoboCop and how good it was, right? And I
Yeah,
said, you have to see RoboCop. Like, make the
right.
time, go watch it. Like, you'll not regret it. And he's like, I don't know. I have other people who like recommended me Buckaroo Banzai. I'm like, no, don't fall for that trap. Don't fall for that trap.
Buckaroo Banzai did not hold up well either.
I tried watching that with Roger years ago. In the
Yeah.
beginning, it was like awesome with like they're the band. But man, after like 20 minutes, that thing was like a slog, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And
Yeah.
it was weird. But I said, no. If you only have a limited time to watch something, don't fall for the Buckaroo Banzai trap.
Yeah, it's
Bunch
not
of weirdos out there who love that movie, thinks it's incredible. Like I give it like credit for what it is, but I would never tell someone like, "Oh, this is amazing." I'm not going to do that. I'll say
I kind of
it's
find
weird. You might enjoy it.
I feel that way now about Repo Man too. I loved Repo Man. I still like Repo Man a lot, but
Oh, it
if you've
gets so
watched it,
weird after a
yeah,
while.
if you've
Like
watched it recently, it's like I don't know if it's
it's one of those movies where the beginning's really good and they do a good job of like kind of developing the world. But then like after the first half, it just starts to like kind of
right.
fall apart and the story meanders. But RoboCop
Oh
is
yeah,
a perfect 90 minutes.
yeah,
And you will not regret watching it. I mean, unless you don't like violence
right,
or
right.
good movies. Maybe you don't like good movies, you know? But
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just saying, like, I would never do that to somebody who, like, I would warn them and say, no, this movie's a little weird. Like, will you like it or not? I don't know. I can't gauge. I'm not going to tell you it's good. But,
yeah.
like,
Peter
RoboCop,
Weller's
I have no problem telling you you're going to like it. It's
yeah,
only, like I said, unless you do not like squibs, which is
right.
the blood shooting out when they shoot.
Yeah. Um yeah. Peter Weller's got like a bunch of great movies.
He's
Screamers
in
is
that movie
one.
too, which is kind of funny. He's in Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, I would just tell him to watch. You know what? I'd say I'd go even further. You know, it's really good. Watch
Uh,
Naked Lunch. You'll
yeah.
won't regret a minute. Watch that. Don't watch RoboCop. Watch Naked Lunch.
Naked Lunch. I would say Screamers is his other big one that was
Yeah,
really, really
that
good.
one's okay too.
Yeah.
RoboCop. I always
RoboCop.
love
Yeah.
that The Simpsons when him and Mark Milhouse go see Naked Lunch and they leave and they're like,
Yeah. Nelson
dude,
is
I
like,
remember when I was a kid, like seeing like Fangoria magazines and like they would show
yeah.
like monsters on the cover, and I was like, oh shit, it's like some crazy horror movie. And I just remember watching it and being like, it's not really that.
Yeah. The book
Like, there's
was
definitely some monster looking things
yeah.
like the anus or vagina typewriter or whatever,
Yeah.
but
The book was just crazy. The book was so profane and real rough. That's where Steely Dan got their name from. Steely Dan is a vibrator in
oh, I think
Naked Lunch.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
that's wrong. That's
anyway.
so funny.
All right. So
Yeah. So if you like the movie and then maybe you read the book, I highly recommend the cartoon. I
yeah.
can't. If you haven't seen any of them, I feel like you need to see to really enjoy this. You have to see the movie or read the comic because you
Yeah.
do need that point of reference of the original content for this to work 100%. If you go into this watching this, it makes no sense.
I think you're right. And I think you should start with the movie. Oh, yeah. I haven't read the comics. I think you should,
Well,
if you start with a movie, though, the miniseries works so much better as like a response to
yeah,
the
you really
film.
can't. That if there's a flaw, that's it.
Yeah.
Because it cannot. I don't think it could work on its own.
You could watch it on its own. It'd be fine on its own, but like you won't.
I think a lot of it just won't have the same impact.
It won't have any of the impact. The whole
No.
impact is like. It's the weird thing is like Scott Pilgrim. Everyone says Scott Pilgrim's an idiot, and he really is. He's kind of a crappy person. You know, I mean, like
Yeah,
in general.
he's like he like mooches off his friends.
Yep.
He's like kind of mind messing with a 17-year-old girl.
17-year-old girl. He
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, he handles everything poorly, and in the film, the movie, live action movie, he still comes across as kind of lovable, and you're rooting for him. But like this puts a lot of that into perspective, where like Scott Pilgrim is just he's the MacGuffin of this new series. You know,
Yeah.
he's just a device to make other things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's It's good.
Him leaving the picture ends up like improving everyone's life in some way.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
like it really
yeah.
does. Like you really kind of get the idea, like that. Yeah, he was an idiot, like, and kind of a crappy person, and I don't know. I think the more I'm thinking about it, the more I agree with you that, like, yeah, you watch the film first, then you watch this mini series, and
Yeah, you need to, or you just need to have a point of reference. You need to
right,
like know enough about it that when you watch the cartoon, it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah,
right.
yeah. You know, I haven't seen. I probably saw it with my son a couple years ago. I don't know. I think it still holds up for what
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
yeah, I do too.
All right. So speaking of some other stuff,
Yeah,
I know we spent a lot of time. The political stuff, I feel like a lot of these things are shorter.
they're short.
I mean, I don't have much to say about this. It's more just like a comment, but like Five Nights at Freddy, I watched it on Peacock. I didn't even realize it was coming out in the theater. Like I had Peacock and
Yeah,
it said, like you could watch it the same day it came out in theater. So I just figured, okay, they're just dumping this. And then I find out like the next, over the weekend that the movie did gangbusters. Like even
right.
though if you had Peacock, you just watch this at home. It made like 70 million in the United States, and it made like 120 million. Now the thing is, and we talked about this in previous episodes, if this was a Marvel movie that made like 70 million, it would be
Yep.
considered dud. But because this movie only freaking cost $20 million,
Not even $20 million. It was 20 million Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
yeah,
Alone.
yeah, Fosbucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like
Well,
that's studios love that
I'll
low
tell you.
overhead, high profit, and honestly, it's not all these fucking things really. I mean, I don't want these. I don't think a Marvel movie should be 20 million. Just because depending on what it is, like we talked about this before the podcast. There's talks about Blade. If I was the studio, except for like committing to like whatever salaries, I would say this movie should only cost 50 million to make.
Yeah.
Blade should be like one of the more low budget movies. And the joke is, if you give it an R rating and it's considered like a horror movie,
Yeah.
it will be one of the more profitable Marvel movies ever made because people love horror movies. They always
Yep.
tend to do well. They tend to have a lower budget, and they always have a higher impact. And I just, it's like the joke is like Marvel only has one movie next year, Deadpool
Yeah.
3, and I think it's still going to be R rated. It's probably going to do really well.
Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah,
think
go ahead.
I would agree. I would agree. I think that's a good strategy for like a movie like Blade. I didn't know anything about this Five Nights at Freddy's. I asked my daughter over the weekend, "You want to go see a movie?" And she said yes. I said, "What do you want to see?" And I gave her a bunch of options
Oh,
that
so
I
you saw it in
wanted.
the theater? You didn't watch
I
it on?
did. No, and we have Peacock. We have Peacock, so I could have. And I even told her, I was like, "Look, we can watch this for free right now. We can just walk into the
Save
other room."
daddy, save daddy a cool 20. Come on.
So anyway, so we go see the movie. She's like, "I want to see Five Nights at Freddy."
$150 later.
She saw The Nun Part 2 like the week before. She's all into horror movies now.
Fun.
So we
Yeah.
went to the theater and we saw it at the AMC place right up the street where you used to go as well. And they
Did they ever
had
empty that trash can from like?
no, well, you know what they had is they had a whole bunch of leftover Taylor Swift merchandise, and so they were doing large buckets of popcorn in this Taylor Smith.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and the popcorn was like $2. You got this giant thing of popcorn for $2.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, that's
100%
funny.
serious. So we saw it in the theater, and I'll tell you, the theater. This was I want to say a Saturday night around 8, so it's like it's prime movie time. Theater was half full or half empty, I guess, depending on your
I mean, for a
perspective.
movie
But
that's been out for a bunch of weeks, that's
yeah,
pretty amazing.
for a movie that's been out for a couple weeks and is currently on a streaming network,
Yeah,
like
that was a
so.
big gamble. I thought like Peacock was just like, we don't know if this is gonna do well. We're gonna put it on Peacock as well. And no,
Well,
people want to see it in the theater. I thought
my
that was crazy.
my kid wanted to see it in the theater, and we went. And I'll tell you, like, look, did I like the movie? The movie was the movie, but I really, really loved. And part of it was probably just that I saw it in the theater, but it was like I used to see movies like this all the fucking time. These PG-13 horror movies that were scary, but kind of funny, but like not threatening, but like some jump scares and a little menacing stuff. And I thought it did a good job of kind of getting that vibe. And it also was a weird movie in that it felt like an 80s movie because no one had cell phones. All the tech was like old VCR. The guy's even like putting a VCR in a thing. Everything was like 80s, and it wasn't like over the top 80s, like everyone's wearing like 80s clothes. It felt like a modern movie in some ways, but it also felt like an 80s movie filmed in the 80s. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was kind of a cool vibe to the whole thing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought it was okay. Maybe if I saw it in the theater, I would have liked it better, but we watched it at home, and I don't know. My complaint was I just felt like they made the monsters out to not be good guys in the end, but like
They were sympathetic characters.
you're too sympathetic to them too early in the movie. Like I felt like they made by doing that, you also make these things less threatening, and they should be horrific. Like
Yeah,
you find out in the end that like, oh yeah, these are all like dead children's like spirits trapped inside these things. I would still say like it should have been a little more like and revealed to the end that okay, we're a little more sympathetic to these things,
right.
but way too early in the movie. I just felt like by doing that, yeah, like what's his face was pretty horrific. Matthew Lillard's character that was a good casting. Him, his like bunny rabbit, what the fuck it was his character was pretty good looking. When he ends up getting like kind of turned into one in the spoilers, it's kind of turned into one in the end. And it's pretty gruesome how it happens. They don't really show it.
Yeah.
They were gonna do it to like one of the kids earlier in the movie, or like put her in the thing, and there was like a doll character. She's from the game too. And they were probably gonna turn her into that. And you see it like crushes and kills them and like kind of traps them inside of these like I don't know. Kids supposedly loved it though. They understand the lore. I knew I worked on the license when I worked at this company, so I did a bunch of T-shirts for it and stuff like that back fuck, how many years ago was it now? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And I just didn't know. I just figured it was like a game where you're trying to like evade like these, you're working at this place, you get tricked into working in, and these things come to life, and you have to kind of like hide from them. It's kind of like one of those type of games.
Yeah.
But there's like a whole lore to it, and I don't know. I think that was like one of the complaints people had was they just said it was too lore heavy, but I don't know. It still did really well.
I didn't know. I didn't know anything about the lore. It made sense.
I can see studios just looking at this movie, kicking themselves, being like, "Okay, we're spending billions of dollars on these movies, and we didn't turn a profit at all. And here comes this one movie, and it cost 20 million. People ate it up, and it turned a profit. And then I guarantee you, it won't have probably not till next. It won't be next year because a lot of these projects are already made. But don't be shocked if like you start seeing movies with lower budgets in like 2025. Like, if a movie costs 250 million to make, it has to make like triple that to be considered profitable in any way. Like if the Marvels came out and that movie is considered a massive flop, it still made millions of dollars, but it doesn't matter because it costs like 250, 300 million to make, which is insane. I don't know where the money's going. Like it looked good, but because I saw that movie and it looked good, but I'm like, am I seeing all that on screen? I don't know.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's probably true that these mid price movies are going to make a run for it.
You're just going to see studios doing more of them. And the thing is, I think it forces more creativity when you have to have like work with less of a budget.
Yeah.
And some of the best horror movies, some of the best, most pivotal scenes I've ever seen as a kid was when you see the monsters are just 3 seconds on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Is like it being this CGI characters just jumping around everywhere. Now I still want some of that too, but I'm just saying there's something to be said about that. Less is more, and having
for sure
impact, like visual impact of like seeing something on the screen for just like a second or two. Um, I don't know. I think well, I just think it's going to change things. I'm not saying that we've had low budget movies that do well all the time. Like, it's usually horror movies, but I feel like this is different because it's like kind of based on like a property that has like toys and stuff.
Yeah.
When shot, like I said, if I was Marvel and I was looking at like the stuff they're making, and I think a good example is Blade, I would be like, I don't need to see like a giant field with like 500 people fighting
Right. No.
a big battle in the end. Like, I feel like Shang-Chi, like, I enjoyed that movie, but it did not need that in the end. It could have just been another awesome fight scene.
Right. In a smaller
Could have
location.
been like at a shipyard, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, they
Yeah,
had
that would have made good
construction
sense.
site that it was on a bus. I don't know. Could have been like, it could have been, who knows? It didn't need to be this CGI field with like thousands of like things shooting arrows and lasers at each other. Like, and we talked about this before the podcast, like Endgame, you could say like, oh, well, they're just trying to recreate the Endgame ending.
Yeah.
And that's like on the field and this big CGI battle. But like, that was different because all the characters there you knew, and there was like a natural emotional attachment. It was built up from the movie before. I just, I don't know. I think they don't need to have these like ridiculous scenes anymore.
No, make them smaller.
Or not every movie needs to have that. Like, I don't know. It's just, um, we'll see what happens. I just think that, like, I keep hearing people saying like, oh, the superhero movies are done. That's bullshit. That's fucking
No,
bullshit.
they're not done.
They're not done. You know what? The Marvels was like a weird movie because it was like, I think if it came out a week later and the actors strike ended, because the actors strike pretty much ended, the actors were able to promote their movies.
Yeah.
This movie, the actors still could not promote their fucking movie. Like, if you got to see like the girl who played Miss Marvel promoting the movie,
Right.
I think it would have gotten more people in the seats. I think
Probably.
it felt like I enjoyed it. It's definitely not like, I would say it's like a mid-tier Marvel movie.
Yeah, okay.
It's
That's
not
fair.
terrible. I don't think it belongs in like the bottom 10 or I don't know. I always find those weird anyway. It's fine. But let me tell you, it again, Secret Invasion should have just been ignored because they don't fucking mention it. There's like no mention. I'm like, does this take place before Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Nick Fury's just cool and fun in this. You would not know. Like,
Right.
there's no mention of his wife. There's no mention of like, oh yeah, there's like scrolls that are out of control. Carol, maybe we need to do something about that. No.
Right.
Like, nothing. It's like complete disconnect. It's like as if the show never happened.
Yeah.
And I really was wondering how much it would tie into this. Nope.
Nothing. Well,
yeah.
I think I may still go try to see the Marvels in the theater. I'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll try to get there this weekend. It looks good. I'll bet you it's good on the large screen.
Maybe I'll have more of those $2 Taylor Swift buckets.
Yeah,
it's right. Like last week you're crying about them charging $10 for a bottle of water.
Well,
Taylor
seriously,
Swift water this time you got Taylor Swift bucket of popcorn for $2. That's pretty good.
I felt stupid because I bought an adult ticket and a kid ticket, which total was $20. And then we go up to the thing and I get a slushie and a large popcorn for my kid. And I guess I had like $5 credit on my AMC, stubs or whatever account.
Yeah.
And so the bill at the concession stand was literally like $3. And that's because crazy. So I felt great, going into the theater. Maybe that's probably why I was in a good mood to see the movie too. It felt like
like, I don't even care what it was. Was he a bear? I don't know.
And show me a test pattern for 2 hours. I just paid like $3 at a concession stand.
That's all you care about.
Fuck.
It's awesome.
Spend 5 times at that at like a high school football game or something. I mean, it's
funny. Yeah, I don't know. I could just see like, it would not shock me if you start hearing like stories about smaller budgets and stuff like that.
I think that'd be a positive step. I'd rather see I'd rather see a bunch of available movies of varying quality or whatever than like this all my eggs in one basket approach that they've been taking, where they like sink $300 million in like 4 years into a movie that may or may not fire.
Well, it's again, it's like, save 100 million. You don't need to have that big stupid battle scene. Save that for like your Secret Wars or Avengers movie.
Right.
Like Avengers makes sense. That's the one that has all the heroes in it. That should be the one that, like, of course, it makes sense. We need this grander field, and like all the characters can like
the point of an Avengers movie is an ensemble, so
so it makes sense. That's your goal. But like your solo movie does not need to have a big battle on a field. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I just would not shock me if the next couple of years, the way things are going, that studios just, they're gonna like really cut back,
dial that back. It'd be good.
Someone brought up a good point, said like in like 2019 Disney had 7 movies that made $1 billion each. And then this year even Guardians didn't crack $1 billion. And that's an expensive fucking movie. That's considered their biggest hit. But actually, the joke is, I guarantee you, they're sitting there going, "No, that was a failure."
Yeah, there's a lot of actors in that, a lot of CGI,
So I'm just curious. Well, no, I mean, it's still, I'm sure it cleared a profit for them, but like, it's not, they have these like ridiculous numbers. I just think it's insane though. Like, you can't release Endgame and expect Endgame results for every movie you put out after. No, that's insane. That's not going to happen.
No, there's going to be an ebb and flow to that.
What?
There's going to be an ebb and flow to that. There's, some will do better than others.
Well, real quick before we move on to like, real life stuff. They announced that, this is for Marvel. They announced the guy who wrote Loki, the Loki series. He's going to be writing, and I guess that means they're actually still going through with it. The Kang Dynasty and the Avengers, I don't know, whatever, the Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, whatever. This guy's supposedly writing it. And I think that's great because then
he's real good.
I feel like there might, well, we'll see. I'll knock on some wood. If there's actual cohesion between these, between these movies and like what we saw in Loki and all that, that'd be cool.
No, I got a good feeling about it. I think it's a good choice. I think it's a natural fit for me. So,
and I mean, the characters were great in Loki. Like they interacted well with each other. Dialogue seemed smart, not dumb, and funny, but funny at like the right times, not like funny just to be funny, like there were scenes where like the ending of Loki season 2 is emotional. It was great.
Oh yeah. No, it was good.
Yeah. I feel like that's a show I'll probably go back. Well, I got rid of Disney Plus, so I can't do it right now. I'll get it again eventually. I might get it right when What If comes out. I want to see What If.
Yeah, I could see rewatching Loki. I could see rewatching Loki seasons 1 or 2, to be honest with you.
No, I would definitely rewatch that before the Kang Dynasty came out or whatever. But I'm really curious if they're really going to keep what's his face.
We'll see soon.
I just what's his name again? Jordan? No,
Jordan. I could have told you had you not asked.
Had you not made me think for a second.
Right. Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. If he's innocent, which no, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just don't know if you're like having issues already, if the studios are having issues, they're looking at like, okay, well, we had him in Ant-Man. That was like the big joke. It seemed like they made some bad decisions in that ending.
Yeah.
Like, we knew they were powerful ants, but at the end of the day, they were still ants. They were ants, and he got pummeled by a bunch of ants.
Right.
Because in the beginning, during the movie, when you first meet him, and he's talking to Paul Rudd, he talks about how he basically has fought the Avengers a bunch of times and has defeated. He's like, "Are you the one with the hammer?" He's like, he's fought them in the past in some other, and he's defeated them. So they were kind of already building him up to be like this insanely powerful character.
Right. That's true.
I don't know. I just think like I still want Kang as a villain. I'm just curious though, do you keep him? Because let's say the movies don't do well. The last thing you want is, I mean, I guess you could fucked up. You can use him as a scapegoat, which studios love. Did you see what that girl from Miss Marvel said? The Marvels? Oh, this is brilliant. Let me see if I can find her quote. Hold on.
Yeah. I have not seen, I don't think I've seen much about this.
Okay, her name is Iman Vellani.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. She was asked about like the movie, like not really doing good or something, and she basically let me see if I can find her. It was pretty funny. She basically just said, like, I enjoyed working on the project. I don't have any control over what happens. This is a question for Bob Iger.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The brilliant line. I mean, I think she's only like 18 in real life or whatever. Very brilliant. Like, why the fuck like she should not be liable for the movie? Like, he gets a flop. Go talk to fucking Bob Iger. He's the money guy.
Yeah. Cool.
That's like that's brilliant. I think that was really good because it's like when I worked at like companies and they try to get me to like answer questions that like a manager should answer or a supervisor or a higher up, and I'd just be like, nah, I'm not gonna. I don't get paid enough for that.
Yeah,
I'm just one of the players. You go talk to that fucking guy. Like he's the. Go talk to him. You're wasting your time talking to me. So I thought that was brilliant of her. It's like, I don't fucking know. I had a good time playing the character. I enjoy it. I hope to do it again. I guess they supposedly are making a Miss Marvel season 2.
Oh.
And the rumor is, and I don't know if this is true, and this would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Is if it's like it becomes like a recruitment to a Young Avengers type thing where, because remember, you know about the spoiler, right? In the end of Marvels, she meets up with Kate Bishop and talks, and it's fun. It's like, it's almost like similar to the Iron Man scene in the end with, but she's Nick Fury now.
Right. Okay.
And it's really funny. She like does the exact same thing. That she's recruiting the Young Avengers in each episode. Like she gets like Patriot character, and they can introduce. I think that would be like a pretty cool way to.
I do too.
Yeah.
Then you could introduce them at the end. You know, that would be good.
It builds towards a Young Avengers series or movie.
Right.
They probably won't do that. It's too good of an idea.
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what's a really good idea?
What?
Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis had a brilliant idea. He's running for president. He said, "You know what? I'm doing so well in my campaign,
right,
for president. I am so beloved that I challenged the governor of California to a debate.
Yeah.
Governor of California is not running for president.
No.
Gavin Newsom.
No.
But Ron DeSantis took it out of his busy schedule.
Busy campaigning schedule.
Of not being governor of Florida, avoiding being governor of Florida, and failing at his campaign to go debate Gavin Newsom, which it won't. Unfortunately, we were not going to talk about it because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
We'll talk about it next week. It's going to be on tomorrow.
Yeah. It's going to be on tomorrow. It's going to cover a bunch of different issues. DeSantis sees this as an opportunity to elevate himself, to get before more voters. I can't imagine, though, that voters in the Republican primary aren't familiar with Ron DeSantis.
I just don't think they give a shit about him debating the governor of California.
Yeah.
I think Newsom should come right out the gate and just make fun of the fact that he's debating him.
Yeah.
Like, why are you debating me, dude? You're running. I'm not running for president. Like, you know, and I think the other thing, I think what Newsom needs to do is it's not just DeSantis, it's all the right wingers push this meme, this lie about how California and its cities are so shitty and horrible, and everyone's supposedly fleeing to go to these amazing red states. And that's like far from the fucking truth. And I think Newsom needs to just correct this asshole on like everything.
I think you're right. I think he can just kind of smack down DeSantis's accusations. I mean, you got to be really well prepared to do that. But people say he's a great debater and a good communicator. I think he's going to be fine.
Bring up all of Ron DeSantis's failures too. Like, hey, look, you're losing insurance companies. You know, cost of living has gone up.
Yeah. When you took office, the cost of a new house was blank. Now it's blank times 2,
like make him have to defend his record. Like, does he even know his record? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, talk about COVID. Like, he's gonna claim all these things about how Florida grew its economy because California was just too strict on COVID, and people fled. That's bullshit. Yeah, a couple of people did that, but that happens all the fucking time.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know. You're gonna watch the debate, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a watch. I think it just to like. I mean, I just find it bizarre. Like
it is. It
is a strange thing for someone who's supposedly seriously running for president debate someone who's not.
It seems like a desperation move, and I think DeSantis is pretty desperate. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I
just think that the only one who's going to have anything to gain out of this is Newsom. Newsom just has to get a couple of lines in there, and that's it. Like,
true.
I don't think. I mean, it's on Fox, so I don't know.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know if it. I don't think it's in a live audience. So I'm trying to think. Like, I would. Like, if it's in like some rigged audience, then that could be bad. Well,
I heard there's going to be no audience.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I think Hannity is going to do it, and there's going to be no audience.
I think that's better then, because then it's like, they can't put like a bunch of DeSantis insiders to boo everything when he's talking.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no audience. It's just Hannity asking questions of the two and kind of letting him debate.
So I guess Newsom, it's like, okay, he gets out there and he gets more branding, and clearly this is for his run to 2028.
Yeah.
And what is this? I don't understand what, like I said, what does DeSantis think he gains from this? Like, notoriety for 2028? Like,
I think it makes sense. Like, assuming he's respect, like DeSantis has got to hope that like the following day, at least half the papers or websites or whatever say that he did a fine job, and then he can kind of,
all right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, then he can kind of use that to kind of leverage his case to the other Republican electorate, that he's the one that can do this. You
think he'll wear funny shoes again?
Yeah. I think this is real high risk, high reward for DeSantis.
How tall is Gavin Newsom? Let's look at it.
He's like 6'3".
Man, he should definitely make some kind of joke making fun of him. Just like,
didn't see it down there.
No, just like, how are you the same height as me? You're only like 5'7". It doesn't make any sense.
Something like that. Like he's got to do some joke around that. I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
What can I say? He has big shoes.
I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be good.
I just think that Newsom, and it's good to go on Fox and just kind of just bust some of these, like California's not perfect, but none of the states in this country are perfect, but some are worse than others. And it's really shitty when you have this like governor that lies constantly about how amazing his state is.
Yeah.
When he's just lying and then shitting on other states and not backing it. So Newsom going on there and kind of just relaying some, like, more facts or whatever.
Yeah, basically just fact checking Hannity and DeSantis.
Yeah, because they push this bullshit. They lie. They say
Yep.
like San Francisco's a shithole, New York City's a shithole.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, like there's shitty parts, but it's not
Sure.
a shithole.
Yeah. No, that'll be good. That'll be good.
It's like, okay, say the same thing about like fucking Tallahassee then. I guarantee you there's lots of shitty
Yep.
areas.
My brother lived in Tallahassee for a long time. There's some real rough parts. There
Yeah,
just are.
it's a
Yeah.
city.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to tomorrow being the day that they might vote to expel George Santos.
Well, he said he's not leaving.
Yeah, well, they're voting. They need 2/3 of the House to vote to expel him, and it's weird. I think it's 50-50 as to whether or not they have the votes. I think they might. So that'll be great.
That'd be funny. I mean, he's not running again. So,
Nope.
but the problem is we're still stuck with him for like a year and change. Like,
Yeah.
we still have all next year. I think, yeah, it's like a year. They
Yep.
switch out the Congress pretty early. It's not like the presidency where it's the end of January.
Right.
It's like the first week of the year, it's new Congress goes in.
Yeah. But they have said that it's practical that he could get thrown out tomorrow, and then I think they would have a special election in New York within like just a couple weeks to
Yeah, but can Hochul
just
shove in someone immediately?
I don't know, and I know in a lot of states you can. All the articles I've read have talked
if a
about
Republican gets in, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a Democrat. I just hope it's a good Democrat, not like a fucking. There's like different kinds of Democrats in New York. You get like, because it is such a heavily blue state, you get these like real corporate Dems where it's up to the point where maybe except for some social issues, you might as well vote for a fucking Republican at that point.
I think that's okay. I mean, like some of these districts are pretty conservative, so to get a conservative
them,
Democrat,
that one was a mistake. No, that one, I don't know how the fuck that guy got in. It's like weird. Like I said, there's going to be like 10 documentaries. Like, this guy. I mean, he's such a weirdo.
Yeah, he really is.
He's like so. It's like you don't know what he is. You don't know like, does he have a husband? Like, is he like where's he from? He has different names. He lived in Brazil for years. How old is he? He was like a drag queen for years. Like his real name is Anthony Volder.
Yeah.
His mom has died like 5 times throughout each historical event. His mother has died. It is like bizarre. Like there's gonna be, and I wonder if he'll end up in jail. I'm assuming that if it gets removed from Congress, he eventually something. Well, out of all things that are coming out about him, he's gonna end up spending some time.
I think that feels right.
It feels right.
It does. It does.
I mean, it should, because that's the only way it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just think it's really funny. He's like, I'm not going anywhere, which is like, then it should like the Always Sunny title card.
Right. Like
George Santos was expelled from Congress the next day.
Yeah.
1 day later. Was that SpongeBob?
Yeah. SpongeBob.
1 day later. Carried out frog marching out of by the police.
Yeah. I don't I hope
he's not Matt Gaetz and all that. Like they're more protected. They have more insider party people. They have relatives and special interests. He's like a nobody.
I think George Santos just cornered. He cornered the leader of the Republican congressional delegation and said, "Hey, just tell me what you want me to vote for, and I'll vote for it. Just keep out of my way." And then went back to like spending and going on trips and stuff. I think it was 100% a grift.
Watching using campaign funds for OnlyFans, just so fucking weird.
Right. So
getting Botox with his BFFs, Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. It's
So fucking weird. Yeah.
He is weird. Okay, so
That's
the next thing we have on the list, this is kind of like a weird one. I always hate to like bring stuff like this up because it's difficult.
I don't know much about this, so I'm gonna let you talk about it.
All right, so there's a Students for Trump leader who'd kind of like coordinated with PACs, and it seemed astroturfed, although
it's like a Charlie Kirk type person.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, he got arrested the other night for it looks like pistol whipping his girlfriend. He took a handgun and beat her with the handgun.
Wow, I can't believe
a
Trump supporter would have violent tendencies.
Would have violent tendencies and would be like a gun fetishist and would beat women. I mean, like all that just adds up.
I can't believe it. I am just shocked among shocks.
It's weird too that he's 27, 28 years old now. He can stop calling himself Students for Trump. I mean, now he can just be like, grifting adults for Trump or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's like the joke too about like Charlie Kirk is like,
yeah,
he's supposed to be this young guy. He's like in his 30s.
Right. So
I'm like clinically dead. I'm 46. So Joseph's like a vampire. I don't know how he is.
Well, I don't have any. I don't, have anything to like joke around about this guy. But it's like, man, if it seems like every other day some MAGA is in the paper for committing a crime.
Party organizer, some fucking delegate, somebody, and you find out they're like a pedophile, an abuser, a scam artist. Like it is like if you took the time to do the research.
Right.
And like just looked up former Trump aide, former Trump this, former Trump that.
Right.
And you'd find out all these different things about how they're like abusers. There's another one. I don't know if it's him. There was like a woman that it was like some other Trump person, and like he was either like sexually harassing another like MAGA lady or something, but I don't know. It was pretty bad. Yeah. I don't think I'd have to look it up, but like again, it's like you see this all the time. Some pastor, some right-wing anti-LGBT pastor. Oh, good. Oh, you're not going to believe this. He's a pedophile. Like it's always like a shock. It's not a shock. Yeah. It's inevitable. It's like, okay.
It seems like it should be inevitable, but
like,
it's still
when
a
are we going to find out you're like some kind of creep? Like, we know you're a creep, but when are we going to find out officially that you got
specific like, kind of creep you are?
Yeah, like the closet that you're living in, right. What creep you are. Yeah, would you like to know? I am all kinds of creeps.
Yeah, I'm every creep. It's all in me.
Start singing.
Yeah,
really bad.
Really well. Bad. It's just one more example of like everyone in the orbit of Trump is just like kind of a shitty person and committing crimes. And
I can't believe that. I can't believe the kind of people that would glom onto a vile, disgusting hog of a person like Donald Trump would also potentially be a vile, disgusting hog. It's hard for me to comprehend it. I really want to give the benefit of the doubt, but
hey,
they say you can't judge a book by its cover, but I don't know. These people can't read anyway. So.
Speaking of really horrible hogs, oh no, that's not what we're talking about. Next, we're talking about Boebert.
I mean, it's a different kind of hog. I don't know. Should us play the clip?
Yeah, this was
it's like a minute long.
This drove me nuts today, but yeah, play the clip if you're searching for that.
Her voice is like it's just grating, dude. Yeah. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yep.
Where is it? Did I send it to you?
You sent me a clip.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, let me put the sound on. So she's trying to attack this guy who I guess is a Social Security official. And of course, she's a right-wing chud, so she wants to just attack Social Security and any kind of government funding.
Allowing delinquent employees to sit on their sofas at home instead of actually getting to work and doing their job.
So she's accusing, this is like that whole bullshit of making people go back to the office, like as if none of these people are working, they're fucking off. and this is just that kind of propaganda.
Yeah, she
And
realizes
people can't comprehend the fact that adults can complete a job at home.
plus that now the government doesn't have to, with tax dollars, pay for heating in a building,
or like not as much.
Yeah.
This is absolutely unacceptable.
So our employees are working whether they are in the office or at home, and they are.
Are you monitoring the work that they are doing from home on a regular basis?
Yes, we are.
Every employee, do you have the numbers of the hours that are submitted? Are you counting how many times they're logging into their computers and responding to casework?
So our employees are subject to the same performance management processes and oversight they are whether they're teleworking or working in the office. And we have systems in place that our managers use to schedule, assign, and track workloads. And that includes individual employee workloads in many cases. So real-time understanding of what actions are being processed at any particular given time. Additionally, our employees are required to be accessible to their supervisors, clients, colleagues, and external parties during work hours via a variety of means, including instant messaging, video platforms, and telephone. They are connected to the workplace, whether they are in the office or at the home.
Then why is the backlogs for Social Security applicants increased from 41,000 to 107,000?
Because we've been historically underfunded for a number of years now.
I don't think you're underfunded. You're funded at the Nancy Pelosi levels, at the Democrat levels. We just continued that same funding.
What is she talking
So
about?
I would say
At pandemic level spending.
So I'd say we have an increase of over 8 million beneficiaries over the last 10 years. At the same time, we
Boomers.
experienced our lowest work staffing levels at the end of FY22. That's a math problem. I mean, that is a problem. If you have those workloads, increasing, and you don't have the staff to take care of those workloads, you're going to have the backlogs that you're talking about, Representative.
Yeah,
You all are allowing.
Well, she had nothing else to say after that.
Yeah, she drives me crazy.
You all are.
Sorry, Adam Frisch this was on Twitter. Adam Frisch tweeted immediately, Lauren Boebert doesn't know what she's doing, and she's wasting the time of C003 residents who deserve real representation and help me defeat her next fall.
Yeah,
That's smart.
She is. I mean, like, you and I were talking about this earlier. I 100% believe this like almost universally, but especially in a place like this, advertising has got to cost very little in this district. The DNC or some PAC or someone should be running an ad, not like nonstop. I don't want to drive anybody crazy with your nonstop ads, but just an ad year round showing what Boebert is doing. You can even have it be a weekly ad, like on every Friday you run an ad. This is what Boebert did for you this week. She voted against wind jobs.
Yeah, Biden was in the district today, and he was touting like all the jobs, and
yeah,
I didn't see. I'd have to look and see if like anything came up, but it would be a perfect opportunity for him to be like, "Well, your representative didn't vote for any of this.
Yeah,
you're benefiting from it, thankfully, but your representative voted against it. Just know that."
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Biden going there was calculated, I would imagine. Because the Boebert seat should be a real reasonable chance to pick up. I mean, even if it's a red district.
You could just say all she is a soundbite. She has, like, it was all lame, like right wing. It was like trying to push this myth that people are not working when they work from home, when that's complete bullshit. Companies have perfected it over the years, and they don't really need people to come in the office unless there's a reason. And they can monitor you because they have software, and they know when you're probably working on a computer that's actually like the company or the government's computer.
How could she not know that? I mean, like, anybody who's
fucking imbecile. She's a soundbite. If you say and then what does she do? Then she's forced to go into the like bullshit. Oh, that's the Nancy Pelosi's Democrat Social Security. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's so stupid.
That's so dumb. So she has nothing to say. The guy nailed it and said, yeah, well, we can't do these things because all you fuckers do is cut our funding. That's why it's not happening. And yes, we have like a ton of people that are alive more than they were years ago.
Yeah.
If you went back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the kind of people that would have been the age they are, I mean, like those people that age at the same people these people age now, these people are living probably a little longer just because they're taking medicines that are keeping them like functioning and going. And we had, if they're boomers or whatever, that there's a reason why they're called boomers, not because it sounds funny to make fun of it. It was the fucking baby boom after World War II.
Yeah.
So you have a whole generation of people that are going to live probably potentially 5 years longer than their parents did because of just medicine and, and maybe like, depending on where they live, quality of life, like maybe there's like less toxins in the air than there were, there's a lot of factors involved. She's a nitwit. She has no fucking clue what she's doing. So when somebody with even just the simplest facts can just, she's just a Fox News, Newsmax, like, gotchas. That's all it is. And then it's like, and this is funny because we watched this. There was like that other one like a month ago too. When, was it Steny Hoyer or something?
Yes.
Like, it was just like, damn, you're dumb. Like she doesn't belong there. Just like George Santos doesn't belong there. These are clowns. Anyone that attacks AOC tries to do, and this is like mainstream news really guilty of this, like where you try to equate AOC to like a Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Right.
That's insane. AOC is a serious person. She has serious people working for her.
Right.
She's trying to do her job seriously.
Yep.
These are not serious people.
No, they're just like you said, failed theater kids, failed actors and actresses.
Yeah.
It's
bizarre. It's weird. It's like I said, it's like, here's this person who's never, like, I don't think, was she even politically interested in anything? Like, before, like, a year before the election? It's super bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope, like you said, that should be an easy pickup in 2024. And let me tell you, the Dems have to take the House back. Because unfortunately, from what I know about the map,
it does not look good.
The Democrats will probably lose the Senate.
Well, that's the thing too, is that like, if you lose the Senate, then no more judges. The Republicans just won't.
Biden needs to put in a judge next year.
Even if
it's the oldest of the, like, one of the liberal women that are left, like the older one. All right. Thank you for your time.
Or he needs to just start doing recess appointments.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and I think he would. I think he would do that. So, we'll see.
Now, we'll see, dude. I don't know. The whole thing frightens me. I remember in the beginning of his presidency when that one guy wouldn't fucking retire, and I was like, come on, man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He eventually left after a year. But what was his name? I don't even remember. I just remember like reading like, oh, he's planning on getting like new clerks, which is like a sign of, like, I'm not going anywhere. And it's like,
right.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
He's measuring.
You're a 90. You have like 12 different cancers, dude.
Yeah. What was his name? God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Not Brad. Not. Ooh. Well, anyway, I know who you're talking about.
Doesn't matter. At least he did the right thing, get the fuck out. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that was
she blew it.
She should have fucking left during the Obama years. Like, like, I don't know. Did they really think fucking Hillary was gonna win? I don't even know.
I think I thought Hillary. I was confident Hillary would win. I was like 100% sure.
I was like, dude, this guy's such a buffoon. I mean, but then I remember when she lost, I was like, oh, well, you know what?
Oh yeah,
she didn't lose by much. She lost by a couple thousand votes in 3 different states. She won the popular vote by millions.
Yeah, afterwards it made sense, but like,
no, well, I always said, I'm like, wait, I can't, like, I don't like Hillary Clinton. Oh yeah, why is that?
Doesn't smile enough.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't smile. Yeah, she's Captain Marvel. Oh, actually, that's funny. The Marvels.
Yeah,
it kind of explained why she's like so stoic in the first movie.
Oh.
Because the Kree wiped her brain. Remember? She had like no memories.
That makes sense, yeah.
They're wiping her brain and like making sure and holding back how powerful she really was. That who she wasn't like coming through.
Yeah,
so they kind of show her like she uses this device at night when she goes to bed. It's like the scroll mind reading thing from the first movie and like Secret Invasion. She uses that to like help jog her memory. So she is funny. Like a little more lively. Like she's a lot more lively and like
Cool.
more less stoic in this one.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it was like a fun little explanation of like, yeah, there's a reason. Like she wasn't really herself. She was
I'll
being
buy that.
manipulated, like her brain was being clouded, you know. Speaking of, what's next?
Yeah.
Oh god. I don't want to get to that yet. We were talking, yeah, dude, the Supreme Court thing, like,
yeah.
Well, that was it. That's what I was gonna say. I can't believe people don't like the person that the media attacked for the past 40 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love it. It's like people think they have like this such independent thoughts. And it's like, dude, you are a sucker for propaganda. You just don't realize it.
Like, yeah, that all adds up. I will say, I mean, just on a practical term, I know this is like a different angle of thought, but like Biden needs to hit those courts hard, because I think you're right. I think they will lose the Senate.
Just because of and not because all the Dems are failure, just because of the states where these elections are.
It's just tough. It's a tough map, and they might have a better shot than most. Like if you had told me a while ago that Georgia would have 2 Democratic senators, I would have said no way. And they do, you know. So we'll see. Manchin's going to be tough.
Well, I think that's a loss, unfortunately. Manchin they said Manchin was going to lose. He was on track to losing.
Yeah, they say that. Yeah.
I don't think he was going to pull it out. I think he was that's why he's leaving. That's why he's like, I'm retiring, because he knew his time was up. The question is, will they try to run anybody decent against the Republican there?
Yeah.
I would say, I think there's an election scene in Ohio. Focus on that. I don't know. I think there's one in Florida, but I don't know. Florida, I think, is so fucked.
It's fucked.
I think you need to get rid of DeSantis first before you get like any type of rationale back in that state. Ted Cruz one's going to be tough. You know, I know we have a couple of things left, but did you see that the Daily Wire made a movie that's coming out? Did I show this to you?
Is it the one about trans athletes?
It's about guys pretending to be trans.
Yes. Yeah. And the guy who made it is, his last name is literally boring.
What?
Oh god, his last name is boring.
That guy's a jackass. I saw a clip where he was talking about like if millions of people said the N-word at once, then it would not it would lose its impact or something. Because if you want people to you can't fire millions of people. And I'm like, okay, wow, really clever there, buddy. But my reaction would be, why do you need to say that word?
Yeah. What is the desperate need to say that?
Why do you feel the need to say the why? What is there something to be gained? Yeah. Why do you think about it so much?
Why? Yeah, that's the real question. Why is this? Why are you thinking about it?
Why are you you know what? I live my life, and the last thing I will ever think about is why I can't say the
right. Yeah.
That's odd. That's a strange thing. That's weird. Yeah. It's like you're admitting something to us.
It is crazy.
Yeah, so they made this like stupid movie, and I heard there was like people who walked up the set. I guess people who got actors and they realized like what kind of project they were working on. Like this insanely stupid anti-trans like it's funny if you like if it was made by actually funny people.
Yeah.
It would be still like offensive as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that bullshit meme the right is trying to push where they say something dumb like, oh, a guy decides to be a girl one day and then he could go in. And of course, this is like a joke too. Now, it's not a joke. I mean, this is what they think.
Yeah.
Men are just so naturally more physical than women that even the best women are going to lose to a bunch of dad bods. Like,
yeah.
And that's so fucking dumb. Like if I went against any female like athlete in basketball or anything, they're gonna crush me.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Like okay, are they gonna be better than Michael Jordan in his prime? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. He's still human. I mean, they could.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a stupid. I just want to I don't want to see the movie, but I look forward to like the commentary on it.
Yes, I do too. That'll be a good day of
They
Twitter.
said that Hollywood doesn't have the guts to make this movie. Hollywood doesn't have the guts to have a strange, weird obsession with a marginalized group of people.
Right. So Hollywood doesn't have the guts to do a Song of the South remake.
Hollywood doesn't have the guts to make Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, Will to Pay.
They just don't have the guts.
A feature-length adaptation of Mein Kampf.
Yeah. They just don't have the guts. But we here at the Daily Wire do. The funny thing is, like, one of the things I've heard people say is like, how much fucking money do these people get?
Right?
But it's like, if you see the trailer, like, it doesn't look like a low budget movie.
Yeah. It looks
like a movie. Like it looks like it could also be like one of those fake movies that SNL makes.
Right. You get like, it's just a trailer is what it is.
Yeah. It looks like that too. But like I'm like, how much fucking money? And that guy is like the main star of it. That Jeremy Boring. What an awful name.
It's tough.
That's a terrible name.
It fits.
The guy's a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's just lame. I don't find him as repulsive or as disgusting as like Matt Walsh or Michael Knowles or the other people on there. But he's still a piece of shit. So
yeah, no, I would agree.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. Well, we have two topics.
I guess they got all the best money fracking could buy. It's like all fracking industry that like pays.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of fracking people, fucking I don't know. What was that? Wasn't frack like a curse word in Battlestar?
It was the substitute for fuck in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this guy's a huge fucking huge fracking piece of frack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse, Crying Poverty.
Yep.
He just came out with a book recently about it has 4 words in it.
It's a pop-up
#1
book.
seller in Arkansas. That's a little callback from early in the podcast.
Right.
Kidding.
Yeah. He wrote a book, and now he's been crying about this for a while, that he's broke. He has no more money. I don't know, like,
that sounds like a grift in itself.
Yeah. It also sounds like, I'll bet you were broke before you killed those people.
Yeah. Like,
what do you mean you've lost all your money? I mean, like, what money are we talking about?
You were like 17. What did you have, like $50 saved in your like a drawer, like somewhere? Like, dude.
I mean, I get it. Once you have any money, you kind of come to see it as it being yours. But like, did Rittenhouse really think this was going to last forever? Like, you can't keep shooting people.
That
right?
Guy
like,
deserves every horrible thing to happen to him, because one thing, he murdered people.
Yep, there's that.
Showed up and intended to cause harm.
Yeah,
that was the intent, was to cause trouble, bring a gun. After he killed those people, he called his friend and pretty much bragged over the phone.
Yeah.
He went on some like right-wing morning show or something, and he came on with his so-called therapy dog. Like, he has a therapy dog. I'll say this. I don't know. Is that there? I could claim my dog's therapy dog. Usually therapy dogs have a vest on them.
Yeah.
To have it on them.
And a monocle and a pipe.
Well,
the good ones.
Not right. No, true therapy dogs have like, it's like the same thing with like seeing eye dogs and all that.
Yes.
It's like, he's such a scumbag. Like, he did everything. You could say he did everything that George Zimmerman wishes he could have done.
Yeah.
But like, this kid literally got away with murder. I guess he's claiming. Well, it's easy to say you're claiming you're broke if like you're being sued by a bunch of people for civil suits, right? So he's trying to pull like an Alex Jones and claim that he's broke.
Yeah, he also had a GoFundMe pretty recently that went nowhere. It makes sense to me that he's broke, because I'll bet you he spent a lot of money on stupid shit, and I'll
I
bet you
bet
that
you like hired people that totally like just grifted off him.
Yep. Or maybe he got like a speaking fee of $35,000, but that didn't include his airfare and his hotel, and so he walks away from this event with like $8,000, and he finally got around to seeing an accountant, and they're like, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that $8,000 come April, and he's like, what the fuck, like all this makes perfect sense. And it couldn't happen.
It's like you said, it's like, where, dude, you're like 20. Like, what the fuck do you have this money? Like,
what kind of money are you talking about? Are you talking about the money you
so
got
you're
after
admitting that you made a bunch of money off of these murders,
Yeah.
and you're trying to make money by hawking a book too.
Yeah, where'd the money go? Right? So
it's just repulsive. This guy's existence is repulsive. Like I said, he got away with murder, and he could have just did the right thing and disappeared. Go to school, just go live your life, try to get away with it, stay like low.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, go make a life somewhere, and then like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 years, someone will be like, hey, what happened to this guy? And then we find out and he's like, I don't know, he's like a bouncer at like the Hagen Heifer or something. I don't know. Like,
right.
He was a mall cop somewhere, Paul Blart.
Yes.
Ryan Blart. Like he could be like, he could just live his life, knock up some girl, whatever. In like 5 years, he has like 12 kids. Like it's like basically the beginning of what was it? Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Show the smart people and the dumb
people. Yeah.
I you're not gonna believe this, but Rittenhouse, I don't know which side he's gonna be on.
Yeah, I would imagine.
The brilliant side, of course, duh. What's funny about that intro though? I bet you a lot of people watch that, and most people think they're on the smart side.
Yeah, I think that's probably real true.
Like
not
like
being real true, that, but yeah.
But those people, yeah, whatever. This guy deserves every bad thing to happen to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Horrible person, like through and through. He proved to be. We knew he was a piece of shit when he killed those people,
and then he just got worse.
No remorse. He became like he's like, half the country hates me. Yeah, that's by design, asshole. Like, you chose.
It's probably more than half too. So
yeah, it's more like 75%, and the other is like a bunch of weirdos. There's people to this day that still defend him. Like,
oh yeah,
who?
Yeah.
Like, dude, is this really how you want to live? You want to defend this like insignificant person? Like,
yeah.
I can tell you, he probably is broke because, like I said, he doesn't have that blue check mark anymore.
Yeah,
so he clearly can't afford to pay Elon $8 a month anymore.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, Elon could use every $8
Elon might
he could get.
Paying Kyle Rittenhouse $8 a month.
Yeah. It is weird. I guess Elon went on a diatribe today and some sort of a talk show format on Twitter, and basically said there's a bunch of advertisers that opted out of advertising on Twitter, and he went on.
Yeah, why is that? I wonder why.
And he's like, fuck Apple, fuck it. He's fuck all these companies that don't want to advertise on me. And my guess is that no one will super miss his contribution, Musk's contribution via tweet. I don't know. It just seemed real self-destructive, and like he's still on that mindset of he'll just do or say whatever he wants, and 8% of the internet thinks it's genius, and the other 92% is just like, what a fucking moron. So
I just think it's hysterical that he's entitled so much that he thinks that people have to advertise on his platform.
Yeah, that's that, the thing.
Like he's like, fuck Bob Iger, like he's on stage and he's like, he's trying to get like the audience to go along with him or whatever, and it's like, they don't have to advertise on your platform.
No, they don't even have to use it. And I think that's the thing he doesn't get, is that Twitter, before he stepped in, was kind of an indispensable outlet for news and events and stuff like that. But once Elon Musk took over, the algorithm got kind of wonky. The little rules as to what got prioritized and didn't be prioritized got wonky. It's like sometimes it's difficult to load the site. He's wrecked it.
And on top of it, if you are a major company and they're just shoving your tweets, they're shoving ads in like middle of threads now. They never did that before. The ads, they never were in the middle of a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you go on Twitter, it's a mess. You're like, wait, is this still going, or is this a different tweet?
Yeah.
And then there's like an ad for like, and there's all kinds of like shitty ads now because they're just desperate to take anything.
Yep.
There's people like said they're very much advertising porn on here. There's someone the ball that I think was from an SNL skit from years ago. Green
Happy
ball.
Fun Ball.
They're advertising that. They've been advertising Crystal Pepsi, which is weird. That's been discontinued like 30 years ago. It's just I don't trust if that's a good thing to.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that needs to be verified somewhere.
But this was like I can't believe this is real. I only saw a screenshot. This hat. I can't believe.
Yeah.
Linda Yaccarino.
Yep.
Over 65 million users tweeted about the death of Henry Kissinger, up nearly 7% as compared to the death of Colin Powell. Wowzers! It all happens on X. What? This can't be real. That's insane. You are like, say what you want about Henry Kissinger.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is about a death of a person.
Right.
Regardless of you
it's so ghoulish.
Like the ghoul. This is just weird. This isn't like wowzers. Like I tweeted that. I said, I can't believe this is a real tweet. Like it's insane.
It's real bizarre.
But yeah, like you said, no one has to use Twitter. He's like he buys it. And he's stuck with it, and all he's done is destroy it.
He's done everything he can to make it worse.
Every time there's something new, it gets worse. There's like it's a bad idea. It's a stupid idea.
It caters to some weird fringe.
No one's gonna want to use your thing for a bank.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't. Attacking the only people that could save your company is an interesting strategy. Wouldn't be one I would pick, but I'm
like, if I were a company, a major company, I would not want to advertise on a platform where like your tweet can show up in like an anti-Semitic thread or racist thread, a homophobic thread, or of any kind. I'd be like, no, I don't want this. We're not advertising with you. We don't want to be. We don't want our brand showing up next to like Himmler.
Of course not.
Like, I don't know. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up. Like it was like the last thing, and now it's gone.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
It was like something else that happened. It'll come to me and it won't matter. I just dude, that was great. This was a tweet someone posted. It's the end of Star Wars after the Emperor is killed, end of Return of the Jedi, and it says, "Please be respectful of Henry Kissinger's memory." And then the guy wrote, "The entire fucking world," and it's like all the scenes of everybody like cheering after the Empire was destroyed.
Nice. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Again, the guy lived way too long for his death to really be inconsequential. If he dropped dead in the 70s, world would probably be a better place.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
He got to live. He gets to live his. It's like how Thanos in the end of Infinity War, he retires on that planet, and he's got a farm, and he's like, I did my job, and then Thor kills him after, and it's like it didn't matter that you killed him because he already destroyed the stones,
right?
And he already did all the damage. So it's kind of like Henry Kissinger dying. It's
a wash.
Doesn't really mean anything. It's like, okay, yeah, you mean he lived like a really long life?
Yeah, in good health for a long
very
time.
Cared for life. Like we should all be so lucky,
right? Ugh. All right, we have. I think that was it. Yeah, we did Elon.
I want to find the clip though of Elon. It's so weird.
Yeah. I don't think you sent me the clip. You sent
I
me,
know
I think.
it's not even worth listening. I have one last one.
Yeah.
The thing about Weird Al, that was it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Let me.
Understanding that I had over 80.
All right, here we'll start over. It's only like 20 seconds long.
Yeah, he's responding to a Spotify Wrapped end of year playlist thing.
Hey, how you doing? Al here. Look, I'll make this really quick. I just want to thank you all for your amazing support. It's my understanding that I had over 80 million streams on Spotify this year. So if I'm doing the math right, that means I earned $12. So, enough to get myself a nice sandwich at a restaurant. So from the bottom of my heart, thanks for your support and thanks for the sandwich.
Yes, it was good. He probably does really well on Spotify numbers wise, and he probably gets very little money.
I tweeted it, and I said, please note, Spotify pays artists next to nothing, so they could afford paying pro-billionaire right-wing chud propagandist Joe Rogan hundreds of millions.
Right? Yeah.
That's what he said. I'm like, that's why, again, you guys can listen to this podcast anywhere. One place you can't
Spotify.
Spotify. Again, most of our audience are goats, so
yep.
Right? That's why we're called YSGOAT.
Actual goats, yeah.
Actual goats. And we don't know what platforms they use. I think they use like Barnes, Fields.
Sure.
Fields are their platform, I think. So anywhere where there's grass. Petting zoos.
Yep, a big one.
Those are the chuds of the goat. The petting zoos, just to let you know.
Yeah.
They probably would like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I would say so.
But no, fuck that. I don't want to be like, I said that was like the big joke was when the Spotify's like so proud, like we're paying him $100 million, and then you find out like all these like musicians that barely make any, like they make. Obviously, he's joking. He made more than $12, but he is dead serious.
I'll bet you he didn't make more than a couple thousand, by any stretch.
Yeah, but I mean, 80 million views.
That's a lot.
80 million downloads, and you're only getting like a couple thousand. Your work is being devalued.
Yeah. Well, and it's valued in some way. You're just not receiving any benefit from it. Someone else is monetizing your work.
Well, that's what I mean. It devalued. Yeah. That's why Spotify is dangerous as a whole, because that's my issue with like AI and all that stuff is you are devaluing the content because you are not paying people correctly.
Yeah.
So you are making, so his 80 million views doesn't, like you said, it probably is a couple thousand, but for Weird Al, a couple thousand is like, feeding his tour bus.
He could make that in like an appearance, not even like a performance. Like he could make that money at like an appearance, like signing autographs.
If you had like 80 million down, I don't know, whatever, on radio stations, you probably were making a lot more.
True.
I don't know how it works. I don't know. Because don't people pay for Spotify too?
Yeah, you can pay for Spotify. There's different versions you can purchase. There's a free version, but you can also purchase a subscription that lets you download some stuff. And
well, they are making money, and there's ads. They're making money from the ads, and the content. I don't know. Like I said, they pay so little for the content, and they are willing to pay a conspiracy pushing scumbag
a bunch of money. Yeah.
Right?
A bunch of money.
Yeah. So that money is being stolen and given to.
Yeah.
That's why I always say it's like the same. It's kind of like the same thing like with elections. You're voting too, not just on like. You should also look like, who am I voting for? Who do I want? You're paying taxes no matter what. No matter what the Republicans tell you.
Right.
You're always going to be paying taxes. So the question is, where does the money go to that you're paying taxes? Does it go to Ivanka Trump and her husband, or does it go to like schools?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where people have to look at where they put their money in things. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Well, on that, I don't know. I think I thought I was connecting to the Spotify thing, but no, I mean it's like the same thing. Like I don't want to support something that is their
You
funds to pay for a right wing propaganda.
Yeah, if you can, you don't have to be part of that machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a happy Henry Kissinger Death Day to you.
Yeah. Because we all celebrate.
We all doing the little Ewok dance.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine the original Ewok song playing, not that Enya bullshit that's in the end.
Right. No.
Yeah, that
was performed by famed jizz artist.
Jizz artist.
Snoodles.
I love that. That will always be hysterical. That the music in Star Wars is called jizz.
Yeah.
And it's just funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to go with that. Whoever did had to have known that that's another word for semen.
Right.
For ejaculate. And I feel like they would know that. I think if you're human, you would know that.
Well, and it doesn't help that the other kind of music, the one not focused on earth jazz, but the one focused on earth rhythm and blues was called rhythm and splooge.
Yeah, that one was a little too much. When they called it rhythm and splooge, the newest Star Wars.
Yes.
Splooge artist Max Rebo. And on top, it doesn't hurt the fact that his nose looks like a big
giant
blue cock.
That's
awesome.
All right. Well, all right. On that,
play that sweet splooge, Max Rebo. Play us out.
Keyboard snoodles.
That keyboard must be so sticky and crusty. The Jedi text have pandas that are stuck together from all that space jizz. All right. On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.